offered an extravagant sum of 800,000 each month in hopes of securing her unwavering obedience. However, Jiang Shuying, with remarkable directness, declined his overtures. Coming from a well-to-do family, she was not in dire need of money. Her foray into live streaming was merely a stepping stone towards her future career, aimed at amassing a devoted fan base. Over the years, she had turned down numerous affluent suitors, yet today, a situation was undeniably more complex. To her astonishment, this source of wealth, the so-called Yuan Jiang Emperor, arrived with an audacious offer exceeding 10 million. Such individuals are typically relentless, unwilling to yield until their desires are fulfilled. A blatant refusal could potentially invite significant peril for both herself and her family. Jiang Shuying had heard countless accounts of female streamers who, incited by the wrath of wealthy patrons, were coerced into abandoning their careers, some even facing a total ban from the industry. While she could dismiss the affluent, rejecting a tycoon was an entirely different matter. Such titans rarely grace the online world. Yet today, Yuan Jiang Emperor had made his formidable presence known. However, Jiang Shuying was no fool. She possessed her own means of self-protection. She proposed, "I can go out with you, but only as friends, and I will also initiate an outdoor live stream. Do you agree?" Her words reflected a high emotional intelligence. On the surface, she appeared to acquiesce. Yet she was subtly rebuffing Yuan Jiang. She understood these men all too well. The thrill of a lone female streamer accompanying a solitary male was undeniable. Yet, to have an audience observing their every move would surely inhibit any sense of freedom. Typically, Yuan Jiang Emperor would have refuted such a request, thereby absolving himself of any obligation, since he had indeed given his word. The viewers in the live stream collectively exhaled in relief. Yes, outdoor streaming was the way to go. A live stream date, how intriguing. However, what sort of date could it be? Merely a casual outing among friends? Surely, this magnate would decline. The audience showered her with praise for her astute response. Low emotional intelligence would dictate a refusal, while high emotional intelligence mandated a live stream. Jiang Shuying, observing the flurry of comments, felt a swell of pride in her own cleverness. Unexpectedly, Yuan Jiang Emperor deviated from the norm. He astonishingly consented. "No problem. This weekend, I will come to your home to take you for the outdoor live stream." Jiang Shuying was left momentarily speechless, unable to fathom that the magnate would agree to a live-stream date. What was she to do? Would she truly embark on a live-streamed private rendezvous? How could she possibly appear composed during such an unprecedented experience? Taking a deep breath, she endeavored to calm her racing heart. When the soldier comes, the general must meet him. When the water rises, the earth must accommodate. She resolved to maintain her composure and handle the situation with poise. Meanwhile, the live stream erupted with excitement. Her audience was in a frenzy, lamenting, "My goddess is going to date another man. My youth has come to an end. Right beneath our noses, let us see what waves he can stir." A live broadcast is imperative. We must not allow the nefarious schemes of this Yuan Jiang Emperor to succeed. Wealthy individuals cannot act with impunity. Shuying, remember to maintain the live stream throughout. We must not let this despicable rich man prevail. This Yuan Jiang Emperor is simply outrageous. I too yearn for a date with the goddess. This weekend, a rendezvous with the goddess Jiang Shuying. Jiang Yuan stretched languidly, reclining comfortably in the driver's seat of the Lamborghini Huracan Inn. Meanwhile, Yao Wenwen teased, "Boss, are you hoping to bring along a dazzling goddess to the class reunion with your date with Jiang Shuying?" Chapter 29. The frantic lottery. Jiang Yuan cast a sidelong glance at her and remarked, "Only you know so much." Yao Wenwen chuckled, wisely choosing to remain silent thereafter. His intention was to accompany Jiang Shuying to a class reunion. With a gathering of ex-girlfriends, remaining single would likely lead to incessant troubles. During their school days, this group of women had caused him no small amount of worry. By bringing Jiang Shuying along, he could circumvent many potential complications. At the very least, having a date would deter his former flames from brazenly causing him distress. They would surely temper their advances. As for whether a single date would suffice to win her over before the reunion, Jiang Yuan brimmed with confidence. Such was the unwavering self-assurance of a handsome man. Subsequently, Jiang Yuan's consciousness delved into the system. His recent exploits in the live stream had accrued a notable amount of shock value. Jiang Shuying, being a prominent streamer, had drawn a considerable audience, even though it was a weekday and the numbers hadn't peaked. Nonetheless, the viewership was substantial, and despite the distance diluting the shock points, the total still amounted to a considerable sum. Jiang Yuan checked his balance. Shock value, 5032. combined with the points he had yet to redeem from his last attempt. He had enough for approximately 50 draws. Seeing that he had amassed a sufficient amount, Jiang Yuan promptly prepared for the lottery. Ding! All points successfully redeemed. Before Jiang Yuan, around 50 blind boxes gradually materialized. With a sweeping gesture, he selected 10 boxes for his first batch. Reward: 1 million yuan. 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 Reward: 10 million yuan. Reward: 10 million yuan. Reward: 10 million yuan. Reward: 10 million yuan. 4 blue and 6 white. The total amounted to 46 million yuan. For his second batch of 10, a sudden flash of golden light appeared. Reward: 1 million yuan. 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 Reward: 10 million yuan. Reward: 10 million yuan. Reward: 10 million yuan. Reward: 10 million yuan. Congratulations. You have received a critical reward. 1 elite security team. 4 blue, 5 white, and 1 gold. The total was 45 million yuan and an elite security team. Upon witnessing the successful draws, Jiang Yuan paused momentarily. He examined the brief description of this security team. Elite security team, an indomitable, undefeated modern security force. Possessing exceptional reconnaissance and counter-reconnaissance capabilities, well-versed in criminal psychology, ensuring the utmost safety for the host. A question lingered in Jiang Yuan's mind. How many members does this team comprise? At present, there are only 3 individuals. The host may upgrade this team in future lotteries. Current team members: Yi Yuhan, Zhang Tianjue, Lei Qinyan. Yi Yuhan, female, 26 years old, proficient in various martial arts, particularly excelling in Baji Quan and Wing Chun. Zhang Tianjue, male, 31 years old, former bodyguard of the president of North Liras, possessing exceptional counter-surveillance skills and practical experience. Lei Qinyan, male, 30 years old, a nationally honored detective from Gulis, a graduate of MIT, with a postdoctoral degree in criminal psychology. Jiang Yuan gazed at the introduction of this trio of bodyguards, unable to suppress his amazement. How formidable are they? A master of martial arts, a postdoctoral criminal psychologist, and a former presidential bodyguard. With these 3 individuals, who could possibly threaten me? This system is truly impressive. After his sudden wealth, Jiang Yuan felt an enduring sense of insecurity. After all, if someone were to resort to kidnapping for money, it would be an exceedingly perilous situation. Although the body enhancement liquid he previously acquired was quite commendable, it was primarily aimed at maintaining normal health. To confront potential future assailants, it was evident that a super bodyguard team would provide the best assurance of safety. Jiang Yuan was immensely satisfied with the rewards he had obtained from the 20 consecutive draws. After all, the safety of one's life is paramount. Wealth is of little use if one does not have the life to enjoy it. However, since there were still 50 draws remaining, he decided to continue. He proceeded to sift through the remaining blind boxes. Third 10 draw. Reward: 1 million. 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 Reward: 10 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 million. 5 blue and 5 white. A total of 55 million. No golden rewards. Fourth 10 draw. Reward: 1 million. 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 Reward: 10 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 million. 5 blue and 5 white. A total of 55 million. Still no golden rewards. Another 10 draw. Finally, a long-awaited golden glow appeared. Reward: 1 million. 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 Reward: 10 million. Reward: 10 million. Reward: 10 million. Reward: 10 million. Congratulations. You have received a critical reward. 60 share in the Royal Century Entertainment City. 4 blue, 5 white, and 1 gold. A total of 45 million yuan in substantial shares with a Royal Century Entertainment City. Jiang Yuan gazed at this golden reward, exclaiming in astonishment. The Royal Century Entertainment City is renowned as a prominent destination in the southern city. Many tourists from afar or wealthy merchants visiting the area must pay a visit to this entertainment venue. Otherwise, they cannot claim to have truly experienced the southern city. This illustrious establishment is also affectionately known as the Eternal City of Night. As the name suggests, it is a venue that only opens its doors at night. where ceaseless entertainment and revelry reign supreme. The array of entertainment facilities available is extensive, catering to various preferences. From the beloved street amusements for children to the state-of-the-art games favored by teenagers, it even encompasses bars and social venues cherished by adults. It serves as a modern hub for entertainment, boasting staggering quarterly revenues that could rival those of the esteemed Ritz-Carlton restaurant. While the Ritz-Carlton primarily targets an affluent clientele, the Royal Century Entertainment City caters to the masses. Jiang Yuan surveyed the reward he had drawn, feeling an immense sense of satisfaction. Chapter 30. The luxurious yacht 2 days later, at Nanxing Harbor, precisely at 1423. Jiang Yuan sat composedly aboard a yacht, patiently awaiting the arrival of Jiang Shiying. Behind him stood 3 individuals, 2 men and 1 woman. Their gazes were sharp and bright, clearly not of ordinary ilk. Nanxing Harbor was indeed the rendezvous point they had chosen, evidently selected by Jiang Shiying herself. It was a bustling location, teeming with tourists and yachts alike. Jiang Shiying's intention was obvious: to choose a crowded venue to mitigate any potential threat from the enigmatic tycoon, Yuan Jiang. The world is fraught with peril, and human nature is notoriously unpredictable. Naturally, Jiang Shiying felt the need for caution. What if this Yuan Jiang were a grotesque and deranged individual? If he were handsome, it might be tolerable. At least she wouldn't suffer a total loss. But should he be both unattractive and inclined to impose himself upon her, she would be at a significant disadvantage. Hence, vigilance was warranted. Jiang Yuan was no fool. He was well aware of her apprehensions, yet he chose to indulge her. Little did she know that if Jiang Yuan truly harbored malicious intent, with but a word at this moment, she would scarcely have time to react before being ensnared like a captive in a cage. Jiang Yuan turned to regard his 3 bodyguards: Yi Yuhan, Zhang Tianjue, and Lei Qinyan. Yi Yuhan was a martial arts master of exceptional prowess. Just yesterday, Jiang Yuan had tested her skills by hiring over 20 professional Muay Thai fighters to spar with her. Astonishingly, within 10 minutes, she had bested them all. This woman was genuinely formidable, and Jiang Yuan had formed a solid judgment of her capabilities. Years of rigorous training and combat had bestowed upon her skin a healthy, sun-kissed hue, exuding a primal allure. The women previously around Jiang Yuan had all possessed fair and smooth skin. This dark-skinned maiden immediately captured his attention. Moreover, Yi Yuhan's beauty was rated a commendable 9.1. While not exquisite beyond compare, she was undeniably a feast for the eyes. Alongside such an exceptional warrior, he had 2 more equally remarkable companions: Zhang Tianjue and Lei Qinyan. Both silent and stoic, perpetually radiated an aura of coldness and ruthlessness. Each of the 3 boasted an initial loyalty rating exceeding 90. As long as he refrained from delivering egregious insults, this loyalty would remain steadfast. With 3 such powerful enforcers at his side, Jiang Yuan felt an overwhelming sense of security. After approximately 7 minutes of waiting, the clock approached 14:30. A young woman clad in a pink spaghetti strap dress gradually came into Jiang Yuan's view. It was Jiang Shiying. At that moment, her face bore a light application of makeup, rendering her both alluring and refreshingly innocent. Upon spotting Jiang Yuan, her eyes sparkled with surprise as she exclaimed, "You are Yuan Jiang?" Jiang Yuan graciously extended his hands in a gesture of openness, introducing himself. "Indeed, you may call me Jiang Yuan." Jiang Shiying still appeared somewhat incredulous. She could scarcely fathom that the man capable of extravagant spending in her live broadcast would turn out to be such a youthful gentleman. Moreover, this young gentleman possesses such striking good looks. Jiang Yuan's features are sharp and defined, and with the recent assistance of Yao Wenwen, he has undergone a meticulous grooming and hairstyle transformation. Furthermore, after acquiring power and wealth, an elusive aura of authority seems to emanate from him, akin to a magnetism that irresistibly attracts the opposite sex. Instantly, Jiang Shiying mused to herself that had she known, she would have chosen a more secluded place for their rendezvous. If she had opted for a less crowded venue, even if she were to be taken advantage of, she wouldn't feel as though she had lost anything. However, she was soon startled by her own line of thought. How could she entertain such alarming ideas? She must maintain her composure. Around her neck, Jiang Shiying wore a miniature button, which was, in fact, the latest model of a micro high-definition camera. At that moment, in the live broadcast room, the audience was collectively expressing their astonishment. This Jiang Yuan is incredibly handsome. Is there any justice in the world? With looks like that, I'm all in. I feel like I've seen this Jiang Yuan's face in another stream, but I can't quite recall where. Jiang Yuan gallantly took Jiang Shiying's hand, declaring, "I've already arranged for a boat. Let us go," as she felt her small hand firmly grasped by his broad palm. Her cheeks flushed crimson. The sudden intimacy with such an attractive man left her feeling bashful. Of course, had the one holding her hand been an unattractive stranger, she would have likely screamed "pervert" and slapped him across the face. Yet, in this moment, she felt an impulsive desire to simply follow Jiang Yuan wherever he led. Nancheng Harbor, renowned as a tourist destination, is famous for its boat tours. Travelers can choose vessels of varying sizes according to their financial means, allowing them to explore the scenic beauty surrounding Nancheng Harbor. Jiang Yuan, being both straightforward and extravagant, had reserved the most luxurious yacht available. This yacht boasted a sumptuous bed, a refrigerator stocked with delectable treats, a restaurant, and even a private karaoke room. Such opulent yachts are often referred to as movable private villas. Their greatest advantage lies in the ability to indulge in the natural beauty of the outdoors while enjoying lavish amenities on board. Jiang Yuan poured a glass of red wine for Jiang Shiying, filling one for himself as well. He gazed at the breathtaking natural scenery around him, the verdant mountains and the gentle breeze caressing his ears, unable to suppress a blissful smile. However, his expression, as perceived by Jiang Shiying, conveyed an entirely different sentiment. Her face flushed with embarrassment, and her mind began to spiral into confusion. Why was he smiling so joyously? Why was he offering her red wine? Was there something amiss with the wine? Should she drink it? She found herself at a loss, as the mere sight of Jiang Yuan sent her heart into disarray. After all, they had only just met not long ago. Meanwhile, the audience in the live stream began to speculate wildly. Is this Jiang Yuan up to something devious with the wine? He most likely invited our goddess aboard the ship with ill intentions. To further lower Shiying's guard, he deliberately chose such an extravagant vessel. The scheming of Yuan Jiang Emperor is profoundly intricate. Fortunately, Shiying is live streaming. Should anything unusual occur, we will promptly alert the authorities. However, as Jiang Shiying gazed at the glass of red wine before her, she hesitated for quite some time before steeling herself to take a sip. Uncertain of why she succumbed, she found herself entranced by Jiang Yuan's visage and, in a daze, drank it down. Chapter 31. Stealing my woman? As a glass of red wine slipped down her throat, Jiang Shiying, unaccustomed to the effects of alcohol, gazed at Jiang Yuan's face. Under the influence of the wine, her cheeks gradually took on an exquisite shade of crimson. This appearance was both enchanting and captivating, instantly mesmerizing the audience in the live streaming room. How stunning our goddess looks when intoxicated. Absolutely beautiful. Her beauty is off the charts. Regardless of gender, all present were entranced by Jiang Shiying's inebriated charm. However, a number of overly devoted fans began to express their anxiety through the chat. Why is Shiying so careless? It's dangerous to drink too much. Oh no, is she really going to fall for this Jiang Yuan? Fortunately, their concerns proved unwarranted after a brief while. Jiang Yuan, it seemed, was merely savoring the red wine and enjoying the picturesque surroundings. Luxurious yacht, beautiful woman, gentle breeze, truly a delightful experience. Yet just as everything appeared serene and leisurely, an unexpected guest abruptly intruded upon the live stream. A system notification popped up. Congratulations, the Emperor has entered the live stream. Welcome him. The entire audience was taken aback by this announcement, their expressions shifting dramatically. This particular fan, known as the Emperor, had previously held the top spot in Jiang Shiying's fan rankings, having subscribed for an entire year. Due to his recent commitments in reality, he had been absent from the live stream for some time, allowing Jiang Yuan to claim the coveted #1 position. However, on this day, just as Jiang Yuan and Jiang Shiying were enjoying a romantic evening, he returned to the live stream. Oh dear, this is truly a collision of worlds. The Emperor fell silent for a moment, taking in the sight of Jiang Yuan now occupying the top spot, while his cherished goddess was seemingly on a date with another man, her demeanor suggesting she had indulged a bit too much. Jiang Shiying, under the influence, had dreamy eyes, flushed cheeks, and lips that beckoned to be kissed. The Emperor felt an intense surge of frustration, exclaiming in the live stream, "What is happening? I've been gone for just a few days, and she is already like this?" In her drunken state, Jiang Shiying was barely aware of the Emperor's entry into her live stream. Meanwhile, the audience, eager for entertainment, began to fan the flames of discord. "Emperor, you've finally returned. Our Shiying is being bullied. You must uphold justice for her." This Jiang Yuan is utterly shameless, using his silver tongue to lead Shiying astray. Under the deceptive influence of this cunning man, Shuying unexpectedly agreed to a one-on-one live appearance with him, which was utterly outrageous. This Yuan Jiangdi, the man currently courting Shuying, is exceedingly wealthy. If your background lacks sufficient strength, it would be wise not to confront him directly. Indeed, just for a mere date, Yuan Jiangdi immediately chartered a yacht resembling a mobile villa, displaying remarkable opulence. It would be prudent for you not to engage in a foolish confrontation. You should concede. It appears Shuying has already been captivated by Yuan Jiangdi. The audience in this live stream is exceptionally adept at stirring the pot. In an effort to prevent their beloved goddess, Jiang Shuying, from falling into Yuan Jiang's hands, they have employed various provocative tactics to spur action. Their aim is simple: to encourage you to intervene and prevent Jiang Shuying from being ensnared by Yuan Jiang. Although they may not fully comprehend your true identity, it is evident from your frequent appearances in various live streams that you possess the qualifications to challenge Yuan Jiangdi. Unbeknownst to many, your true identity is that of Su Tianhao's third son, Su Jiaozong, the wealthiest man in Nanqing. Su Tianhao, a formidable figure, has held the title of Nanqing's richest individual for many years. The mere mention of Su Tianhao sends shivers down the spines of anyone in the city. As his third son, Su Jiaozong has been indulged excessively by the Su family since childhood, resulting in a peculiar and erratic demeanor. Recently, his mysterious disappearance can be attributed to his coming of age. Su Tianhao has decided to gradually entrust his business to him. Today marks the first day of this business handover. As soon as he completed his task, he eagerly made his way to Jiang Shuying's livestream, intent on showering her with gifts. The rationale is straightforward. Previously, most of his funds were merely pocket money from the Su family. However, the situation has changed. Now, the money at his disposal is what he has earned from managing the family business. The disparity between these two sources of wealth is akin to a gentle stream contrasting with a vast, boundless ocean. Su Jiaozong felt an overwhelming surge of confidence and assurance that he could impress Jiang Shuying today. Yet, to his utter dismay, he discovered that someone had already beaten him to it. The woman he, Su Jiaozong, of the illustrious Su family, had set his sights on was already pursued by another, and their private date was being broadcast live. What is this? Is this not a reckless invitation to disaster? Flames of fury ignited in Su Jiaozong's eyes as he promptly commanded, "Temporarily assign me 20 members from my father's security team. I intend to teach this arrogant brat a lesson." Yes, young Master Su. Su Tianhao's security team comprises elite individuals, many of whom are former special forces, seasoned in the theater of war, and have faced genuine combat and bloodshed. Some are even capable of battling full-grown bears. However, the hiring costs for these individuals are exorbitantly high, with a single hour's service potentially costing hundreds of thousands. Only a top-tier magnate like Su Tianhao could afford to employ such individuals on a long-term basis. The news of Su Jiaozong assembling these 20 individuals swiftly reached the ears of the old steward of the Su family. The steward advised, "Third young master, it would be prudent to first ascertain the background of the other party before proceeding. Furthermore, it would be wise not to utilize the strength of this security team, as they could easily incite fatal consequences." Su Jiaozong, already blinded by rage, retorted angrily, "What is there to fear? I know my limits, and besides, if anything were to go awry, my father would take responsibility." The old steward sighed, aware that his earnest counsel would likely fall on deaf ears. Nevertheless, he still commanded an immediate investigation into the background of Jiang Yuan. Meanwhile, Su Jiaozong had already set off for the South City Harbor, intent on teaching Jiang Yuan a lesson. Chapter 32. A kiss seals the deal at the South City Harbor. Aboard a luxurious yacht, Jiang Yuan was in high spirits. Under the deft guidance of the hired captain, the vessel glided smoothly across the shimmering sea. The salty breeze embraced him, and beside him sat a stunningly intoxicated beauty. Her cheeks flushed, a glass of exquisite red wine in hand. The ambience was intoxicating, and Jiang Yuan found himself somewhat enraptured by it. However, at that moment, another yacht, equally grand in scale, began to close in on him. The captain, visibly agitated, shouted, "Who are you?" According to regulations, 2 luxury yachts of this caliber cannot sail concurrently. As the saying goes, 2 tigers cannot coexist on the same mountain. The presence of multiple yachts of such magnitude in this harbor could easily lead to trouble. The fact that the opposing yacht had managed to secure a sailing permit indicated that its owner was of considerable stature, likely someone far beyond Jiang Yuan's reach. Gazing at the imposing vessel approaching him, nearly on par with his own, Jiang Yuan sensed a foreboding. He gestured to the captain to steer towards the shore, recognizing the potential for danger. Meanwhile, Jiang Shuring, overwhelmed by the effects of alcohol, had succumbed to a state of half-consciousness, her strength waning. Jiang Yuan supported her, one arm around her waist, the other steadying her shoulder as they descended from the yacht. Their closeness resembled that of an affectionate couple, oblivious to the world around them. Not far away, Su Jiatsong observed their descent and approached with a group of over 20 bodyguards from his father's security detail. He happened upon this intimate scene, and his anger surged. He, a seasoned suitor, had lavished gifts upon Jiang Shuring for so long, yet had not even had the chance to touch her hand. How could this upstart, Jiang Yuan, dare to grow so close to her in his absence? A wave of indignation washed over Su Jiakong. With a grim expression, he confronted Jiang Yuan, flanked by his entourage. The viewers in the live stream reveled in the unfolding drama. The show was about to begin. It was evident that Su Jiatsong, the so-called Emperor of Humanity, had finally made his move. This time, Jiang Yuan would likely face severe repercussions for his audacity in getting so close to their goddess, Jiang Shuring. Go get him, Emperor. Teach this insolent brat a lesson. Faced with the formidable presence of Su Jiatsong and his entourage, Jiang Yuan remained unperturbed, casting a calm glance at the three individuals behind him. They stood as if guardian deities, exuding an aura of invincibility. Su Jiatsong's voice dripped with ice as he regarded Jiang Yuan, his gaze reminiscent of one surveying a lifeless body. So you are the famed Jiang Yuan? Taking advantage of my absence to encroach upon my woman, are you? You lack the decency to behave, resorting instead to underhanded tactics. Have you no shame? Having grown up under the tutelage of his father, Su Tianhao, and seasoned in the cutthroat world of business, Su Jiatsong naturally bore an air of supremacy. At this moment, the barrage of questions directed at Jiang Yuan exuded an unsettling air. Yet, this menacing aura seemed to have no effect on him. Jiang Yuan stood upright, resembling a spear in his poise. Casually, he brushed his hand against Jiang Shuring's face behind him, remarking, "Indeed, Jiang Shuring is a great beauty, with a fine figure and a lovely visage. It appears she has yet to acknowledge any connection with you. If I were to be with her, it wouldn't be a bad affair." Su Jiasong's eyes were fixed intently on Jiang Yuan's hand, which lingered on Jiang Shuring's cheek. "Touch her again, and I swear I will sever your hand." Su Jiasong got that coldly. "Oh, is that so?" Jiang Yuan scoffed derisively, refusing to withdraw his hand from Jiang Shuring's face. And instead, he gently lifted her chin. Jiang Shuring, having succumbed to the effects of alcohol, was in a semi-conscious state, feeling a warm and substantial hand lifting her chin. A tingling sensation spread through her, mingled with a sense of dependence on this comforting touch. As her almond-shaped eyes fluttered open, she was greeted by Jiang Yuan's extraordinarily handsome face, instantly causing her to blush. Fueled by the liquor, her courage surged, and she seized the moment, pecking him lightly on the lips while he was momentarily distracted. Even Jiang Yuan himself was taken aback, as the seemingly unconscious Jiang Shuring unexpectedly stirred and bestowed a kiss upon him. Su Jiasong's expression darkened instantly, his voice icy as he spat. "You little brat. You're courting death." Jiang Yuan could only mutter, "How is this my fault? Jiang Shuring took advantage of me in her inebriated state, and somehow it falls on me?" However, Jiang Yuan recognized that this situation would likely not end well. Any attempts at explanation would be futile. The disdainful glint in Su Jiasong's eyes made it clear he intended to humiliate Jiang Yuan thoroughly, especially in front of the entire livestream audience and the goddess Jiang Shuring. Yet, would Jiang Yuan be intimidated? He regarded Su Jiasong with growing contempt. Observing the scene, he noted that Su Jiasong had brought along more than 20 individuals, their sharp gazes and polished attire indicating they were not ordinary folk. With a nonchalant smile, Jiang Yuan raised a hand and proposed, "Shall we engage in a fight?" Su Jiasong's eyes flickered with menace as he retorted coldly, "You have only 3 behind you, while I have over 20. Jiang Yuan shrugged and laughed heartily. "I dare say one person behind me could take on all of you." In response, Su Jiasong dismissed him with scorn. Such arrogance. If one person behind you can defeat 20, why not claim they could take on an entire army? Jiang Yuan chuckled with intrigue, suggesting, "How about we make a wager?" Su Jiasong replied sharply, "All right. If my 20 cannot defeat your one, I will concede this super yacht to you on the spot." Jiang Yuan shook his head, responding, "I have no interest in such trivialities. It is far too cheap." Su Jiatsong believed that Jiang Yuan was deliberately provoking him. He coldly inquired, "What do you want?" Jiang Yuan extended his right index finger, pointing directly at Su Jiatsung's head, and declared, "I demand that you bow at a perfect 90 degrees, not a degree less. And shout, 'Jiang Shao, I was wrong. I should not have competed with you for a woman.'" Su Jiatsung, amused yet infuriated, retorted, "Very well, but should you lose, I shall instruct my subordinates to beat you to a pulp, sending you to meet King Yama." Jiang Yuan nodded, his expression one of indifference. Behind him, Yi Yuhan, Zhang Tianzhu, and Lei Qianyin were already poised for action. In their eyes, there was a swirling vortex, ready to engulf Su Jiatsung's more than 20 subordinates. Chapter 33. A sweeping victory as Jiang Shuying bestowed a kiss upon Jiang Yuan. The viewers in the live stream erupted in chaos. "I cannot accept this. Someone take down this Jiang Yuan. Emperor, hurry up. Eliminate this scoundrel." The male viewers were seething with rage, their eyes almost bulging from their sockets. How could our goddess kiss another? More alarmingly, she took the initiative. This was beyond tolerable. If it weren't for this Jiang Yuan stirring up trouble, their goddess would never have found herself in such a predicament. The audacity was unbearable, just as they anticipated witnessing Jiang Yuan's downfall. The live stream signal was abruptly cut off, plunging the screen into darkness with a message: "The host is on the way." The viewers were left in stunned silence. The individual responsible for severing the signal was a technician from the Su family security team, who would never be foolish enough to engage in a public confrontation broadcasted live. Thus, they employed a pre-prepared signal jamming device to temporarily disable the nearby network. This turn of events left the viewers frustrated, eagerly yearning to see Jiang Yuan receive a thorough beating for daring to kiss their goddess. Alas, the live stream remained obscured, and they could only await the outcome with bated breath, collectively praying for Jiang Yuan's downfall. Give that Jiang Yuan a taste of his own medicine. How dare he kiss our goddess? Emperor, take him down. Show this Jiang Yuan what real power looks like. On one side stood Su Jiatsung's security team of over 20 individuals, while Jiang Yuan faced off against 3. Both parties were seasoned warriors, and the atmosphere crackled with tension. Even Jiang Shuying sensed that something was amiss. The earlier haze of inebriation dissipated as the palpable bloodlust enveloped the scene, restoring her awareness. What was happening? Jiang Shuying felt as if a bucket of cold water had been poured over her, jolting her into clarity. Upon spotting Su Jiatsung across the way, she could not suppress a gasp of astonishment. The emperor? She had seen photographs of this renowned figure from the live stream, recognizing him immediately. Observing the imposing presence he brought along, she surmised the gravity of the situation. In a hushed whisper, she urged, "We should flee. His family wields considerable influence. We cannot afford to provoke them." Jiang Yuan chuckled softly and leaned closer, whispering, "Even if he has discovered our affair, that does not necessitate our retreat." Jiang Shuying's face flushed crimson. "What affair do we have?" Jiang Yuan playfully brushed her nose, replying, "Any affair we choose to have." Her cheeks deepened in hue, the youthful beauty of her visage becoming even more radiant, and she found herself momentarily entranced by him. In his heart, Jiang Yuan mused that taking this girl to a gathering might indeed eclipse all others. Meanwhile, Su Jiatsung, witnessing the intimate exchange between the two, felt his eyes nearly bulge from their sockets in disbelief. With a swift motion of his hand, he commanded his security team to advance. Su Tianhao's security detail primarily comprises numerous renowned international mercenary organizations. The members of such organizations are distinguished by their formidable strength and exceptional prowess, often boasting backgrounds as elite special forces operatives alongside some who are retired presidential bodyguards from various nations. Each individual is a paragon of contemporary valor, significantly surpassing the capabilities of bodyguards provided by domestic security firms. However, their exorbitant fees present a substantial drawback. These bloodthirsty mercenaries charge a minimum of 150,000 for a single hour of protection, with rates soaring to over 10 million for elite services. Thus, the average wealthy individual finds it nearly impossible to afford their services. Only Su Tianhao, the wealthiest man in Nansheng, possesses the audacity to employ these mercenaries continuously, around the clock, throughout the year. In the past, some audacious international fugitives had set their sights on the lucrative target that was Su Tianhao. Yet, without exception, they were decisively subdued by the legendary private security detail of the Su family. Su Jiatsung harbored absolute confidence in the combat capabilities of this elite team. Even though he had only deployed 20 operatives, he felt assured of victory. He commanded his men, pointing at Yi Yuhan, instructing Blood Eagle, Shadow Fong, Thunder Leopard, You three handle that girl first. She should be the weakest. The trio complied, swiftly extricating themselves from the group of over 20. Each of these mercenaries hailed from distant warrior nations, reputedly possessing combat prowess equivalent to that of an adult brown bear. Their nation's martial ethics are exceedingly robust, and as distinguished members, their combat abilities are nothing short of astonishing. The mercenary known as Blood Eagle was particularly ruthless, a cold-blooded individual who followed his employer's orders without hesitation, showing no mercy even towards women. He moved with lightning speed, eager to claim the glory for himself. Shadow Fong and Thunder Leopard, however, were reluctant to inflict severe harm on a woman, yet felt compelled to comply with their employer's directives. Little did they realize that their momentary hesitation would ultimately save their lives. As the trio approached Jiang Yuan's side, Yi Yuan sprang into action. No one witnessed her movements. All that was seen was Blood Eagle letting out a cry of anguish before collapsing to the ground, clutching his head in agony. Shadow Fong and Thunder Leopard felt an excruciating pain in their legs, as if they had been crushed by a heavy roller. An overwhelming wave of suffering engulfed them both. Su Jiatsong stood in shock, stammering, "Help, help them." Blood Eagle and his companions were carried back, and after a preliminary assessment, it was determined that he had suffered a severe head injury from a heavy blow, potentially resulting in lifelong ailments. The legs of the other two were shattered and required immediate medical attention. Upon hearing this diagnosis, Su Jiatsong swallowed hard, reassuring himself, "It's all right. We have so many people." However, before he could finish his thought, he was struck by the grim reality that, in the blink of an eye, fewer than 5 members of the security detail remained standing. The 5 individuals were utterly astounded, their expressions akin to those who had encountered a monstrous apparition. Su Jiatsong, pale as a ghost, found himself rendered speechless, frozen in place. What on earth was happening? In the blink of an eye, over 20 people had collapsed. It was at this moment that the old butler finally uncovered the truth behind Jiang Yuan's identity. The revelation was so staggering that even a man who had served as the butler for the Su family for 2 decades could not help but be taken aback. Jiang Yuan was a major shareholder of the Fiscal Ton restaurant, the powerful figure behind the Royal Century Entertainment City, residing in our very own Dongshan Villa area, and occupying the most prestigious building. Furthermore, he was a renowned rising star in the antique circle, a figure who had caused the Yi family of Antique Street to suffer significant losses. The old butler, utterly astonished, hastily began to reach out to Su Jiatsong, realizing that this individual must not be harmed. This man was indeed a person of great significance. Chapter 34. The true identity of Jiang Yuan, the old steward, was in a state of utter turmoil, akin to an ant on a hot stove. Having watched the young master of the Su family, Su Jiatsong, grow up from childhood, he possessed an intimate understanding of the character of this impulsive and irritable third young master. His propensity for recklessness rendered him exceedingly prone to trouble. In the past, his father, Su Tianhao, had always been able to bail him out, and even if he provoked a crisis, Su Tianhao's wealth and influence could smooth things over. However, this had fostered an air of arrogance in him. What was even more alarming was that he had brought along Su Tianhao's personal security team, setting the stage for a major disaster. The old steward was acutely aware that, given his status, he could not dissuade Jiang Yuan. Thus, he promptly dialed the phone number of the second young lady of the Su family, Su Wanting. "Miss, it's bad. Something's happened. The third young master has taken the family head security team to find Jiang Yuan." He recounted the situation to Su Wanting in meticulous detail, leaving no stone unturned. Upon hearing this, Su Wanting was immediately filled with urgency and rushed to the South City Harbor. She was deeply concerned about her brother's impulsive nature, fearing he might inadvertently cause harm. If an ordinary person were to fall victim to Su Jiatsong's wrath, perhaps Su Tianhao could suppress the incident through his influence and resources. Yet, Jiang Yuan was no ordinary individual. He had already begun to make his mark, although he had only recently debuted, and his fame in South City was modest. He was certainly not someone to be trifled with. "Faster! I must arrive at South City Harbor within 5 minutes." Su Wanting cried out in desperation. She fervently prayed that Su Jiatsong would not act rashly. If he truly laid a hand on Jiang Yuan, it could lead to irreparable consequences for the Su family, forever incurring the wrath of this rising star. However, when she finally arrived at South City Harbor, the scene before her was utterly astonishing, leaving her speechless, her mouth agape in disbelief. There, more than 20 members of her father's legendary security team lay sprawled on the ground like a pack of defeated hounds. Some clutched their arms, others rubbed their heads, while a few, disregarding their dignity, assumed humiliating postures in a plea for mercy. Meanwhile, her brother, Su Jiaozong, resembled a clown as he frantically dialed for an ambulance, pleading with Jiang Yuan to remain calm and not to retaliate. Su Wanting was taken aback. She realized she had arrived too late, but the outcome was starkly contrary to her expectations. She had imagined Jiang Yuan would be the one groveling on the ground, wailing in despair. To her astonishment, the reality was a complete reversal of roles. Her father's private security team had been thoroughly subdued. Despite her shock, Su Wanting was astute and quick-witted. She approached Jiang Yuan and implored, "Please do not harm my brother. At last, sister, you've arrived." Tears streamed down Su Jiaozong's face, as he was nearly paralyzed by fear. Jiang Yuan turned his head and was greeted by the sight of a strikingly tall woman, approximately 26 years of age, exuding an air of elegance. System detecting. Name, Su Wanting. Age, 26. Attractiveness, 9'5", figure 9. 6. Identity, second young miss of the Su family. This second young miss was characterized by her extraordinarily long legs. A mere glance revealed that she undoubtedly possessed a 9-headed body proportion. Generally, a woman's figure is considered model-worthy at a 7-headed ratio, while a 9-headed beauty is exceedingly rare, each being a paragon of excellence. Jiang Yuan couldn't help but be captivated, as it was his first encounter with a woman of such an extraordinary physique. However, judging from her identity and words, it was clear that this woman was Su Jiaozong's sister. Jiang Yuan retorted with irritation, "I haven't harmed him. It was he who summoned these individuals to threaten me. I was merely acting in self-defense." Jiang Shiying chimed in, saying, "Indeed, it is his fault. You should compel him to apologize." Hearing the demand for an apology while lying on the ground, Su Jiaozong immediately acquiesced. Yet, in the presence of his sister, he felt a pang of humiliation. But as he recalled the 20 subordinates sprawled on the ground, uncertain of their fate, he quickly knelt down. "Young Master Jiang, I am deeply sorry. This is entirely my foolish mistake. I failed to recognize your power and dared to offend you. It is all my fault." Su Jiaozong was a cowardly individual, having grown up sheltered and spoiled by his family, lacking any semblance of fortitude. He felt that the humiliating scene of his pleading was only witnessed by 3 people, so it was somewhat bearable. Though slightly embarrassed, it was preferable to losing his life. What he was unaware of, however, was that due to the previous scuffle, the signal jamming device had been inadvertently damaged. Consequently, the live stream in Jiang Shiying's studio had returned to normal. The image of Su Jiaozong kneeling and weeping was now broadcasted across the internet. Viewers were astounded. Just moments ago, when the signal was still intact, this man had exhibited bravado, threatening to annihilate the Jiang family. How was it that upon the signal's restoration, he transformed into a coward, begging for mercy? What transpired in between? Had the emperor fallen? Why was he weeping so pitifully on the ground? Who exactly is this Jiang Yuan? I suspect he possesses significant connections, and those around him are not ordinary. The emperor may never regain the courage to face the major live stream platforms again. Meanwhile, Su Wanting quietly relayed the various identities of Jiang Yuan to Su Jiaozong. Upon hearing this, his demeanor instantly deflated. Initially, Su Jiaozong had only feared Jiang Yuan's strength, contemplating a temporary retreat, hoping to later rely on his family's influence to settle the score. However, upon hearing his sister reveal Jiang Yuan's true identity, he immediately trembled in fear. With such a background, if he sought to create trouble for him, it was likely that even his father would be powerless to protect him. Consequently, he cried out in desperation with increased fervor. Yet, Su Jiaozong remained oblivious to the fact that his disgraceful demeanor had been fully exposed to all the viewers in the live broadcast. He still believed that only the few present were aware of his predicament. Chapter 35. The class reunion. Su Wanting gazed at her ineffectual younger brother on the ground, a deep sigh escaping her lips. She regarded him with a complex mix of emotions, pity intertwined with the notion that perhaps a taste of hardship would do him good. Yet, more than anything, she felt a sense of embarrassment. In affluent families, maintaining one's dignity is paramount. How could she allow her brother to continue in such a disgraceful manner? Determined, Su Wanting grasped Su Jiaqing's hand, intending to leave. However, Jiang Yuan was unwilling to let them go so easily. He raised an eyebrow, questioning, "Is it your intention to come and go as you please?" At his words, a sudden jolt of alarm surged through Su Wanting. Was this not yet over? "What do you want?" she asked, her gaze fixed warily on Jiang Yuan. The Su family was not to be trifled with. It was merely that her brother had erred first, and thus they had not claimed the moral high ground. Should Jiang Yuan push his advantage further, Su Wanting was unafraid to stand her ground. Yet, contrary to her expectations of him being aggressive, Jiang Yuan calmly approached her side. In a tone barely audible to anyone else, he said, "It doesn't matter about the others, but you must leave me your contact information before you go." Taken aback, Su Wanting stared incredulously at Jiang Yuan's face. This audacious individual had just reprimanded her brother, and now he sought to court her? Yet, she had to admit, he was rather handsome. After a moment's hesitation, she reluctantly provided her WeChat ID. There was no denying that the allure of such a charming invitation was hard to resist. Furthermore, given that her brother was indeed at fault, making a small sacrifice on his behalf seemed justifiable. Upon receiving Su Wanting's contact details, Jiang Yuan smiled softly and remarked, "Then perhaps we shall meet again by fate." As these words reached her ears, Su Wanting felt her heart race inexplicably, quickly turning away to lead Su Jiaqing away. Once the Su siblings vanished from view, Jiang Yuan's expression turned cold. He approached Yi Yuhan and inquired, "How much effort did you expend this time?" Yi Yuhan, typically reserved and rarely engaging in conversation, silently extended a single finger. 10%? Jiang Yuan furrowed his brow. If her strength had diminished by 10% from merely 20 individuals, it indicated that his security team might require additional recruits. Today, it was 20. Tomorrow, it could be 200 or even 2,000. He understood that as his reputation grew, he would inevitably attract the attention of formidable adversaries, and many hidden forces would covet his wealth. Thus, bolstering the strength of his private security team was an urgent necessity. However, when Yi Yuhan heard the mention of 60%, she slowly shook her head. In somewhat halting speech, she said, "These individuals are utterly inadequate." 3 days later, a Lamborghini Huracan sped along the highway, with Jiang Yuan and Jiang Shuring seated within. The destination of the vehicle was naturally the venue for this reunion, the Tianling Grand Hotel. As one of the few 7-star hotels in Nanchang, Tianling boasts a distinctive style. The hotel's amenities are exceedingly sophisticated, featuring the latest series of artificial intelligence technology. The cleaning is handled by state-of-the-art robotic cleaners, while culinary tasks are entrusted to innovative cooking robots, equipped with machine learning and big data analytics, producing dishes indistinguishable from those crafted by master chefs. In theory, every service within this high-tech hotel could be replaced by machines. Were it not for the current technological limitations, one might anticipate significant advancements in fully automated hotels within the next 3 to 5 years. However, the convenience comes at cost. The investment required for the research and procurement of such machines is exorbitant. Thus, the widespread promotion of this kind of hotel remains, for the time being, an improbable venture. Consequently, the prices at such technologically advanced hotels are exceptionally steep, with a single night's stay costing tens of thousands. Furthermore, due to many devices being in closed testing phases, the availability for open trials is severely limited. Those fortunate enough to secure these rare opportunities are invariably individuals with special connections. Dining at Tianling Hotel is a privilege that each guest relishes, not solely for the exquisite cuisine, but more so for the status and identity it confers. Others may desire to dine here, but find themselves unable to do so, even if they expend substantial resources and effort. Yet for these privileged guests, toasting and reveling comes effortlessly. What is this? It is power, it is identity and status. Thus, the reputation of the Tianling Grand Hotel has gradually spread, attracting numerous affluent individuals eager to dine there, taking pride in such an experience. Jiang Yuan observed with great interest the introduction of Tianling Grand Hotel, intrigued by the most luxurious hotel in Nanchang. However, he was even more curious as to why this reunion was held at such a venue. Clearly, among his old classmates, there were hidden talents. It was evident that some had achieved considerable success, intending to showcase their prosperity before their former peers at the Tianling Grand Hotel. Jiang Yuan drove swiftly, parking his vehicle before walking alongside Jiang Shuring towards the hotel. According to the agreed-upon time, a small group had already gathered at the entrance of Tianling Grand Hotel. They were all Jiang Yuan's old classmates, class monitor Yang Tao, wealthy heir Song Xiaofeng, the rotund Lu Feng, antique dealer Chen Xiaoyu, and several others whose names Jiang Yuan could barely recall after so many years. As Jiang Yuan approached, his old classmates recognized him immediately. "Jiang Yuan, long time no see. You become even more handsome," exclaimed one. "You were the campus heartthrob back in school, and it seems you haven't lost any of that charm." Another chimed in. "You rascal, you've gone all these years without contacting us." Among the old classmates, the class leader Yang Tao is known for her warm and cheerful disposition, while the chubby Lu Feng possesses an endearing charm, and Chen Xiaoyu needs no further introduction. They all hold a favorable impression of Jiang Yuan, and after several years apart, they find themselves longing for him, thus welcoming him with great enthusiasm. Most of the classmates also share a positive recollection of Jiang Yuan and eagerly approach him with friendly greetings. The only exception is Song Xiaofeng, who, upon witnessing the warm reception from everyone towards Jiang Yuan, stands off to the side with a sullen expression, his demeanor exceedingly grim. During their school days, Song Xiaofeng was notorious for being a wealthy second generation, and he often resorted to bullying many classmates, leveraging his family's modest wealth. He looked down upon male classmates of average backgrounds with genuine disdain, while he would transform into a sycophant around the more attractive female classmates, constantly orbiting around them. Chapter 36. Yao Exener. Although Song Xiaofeng possessed a rather unappealing appearance and a notoriously foul temper, often resorting to bullying his classmates, he initially managed to ensnare a couple of vain and materialistic girls through his financial allure. However, his despicable nature gradually became apparent. He was not only fickle, but also had a proclivity for violence. Even towards his girlfriend, he showed no mercy, resorting to physical abuse at the slightest displeasure. Over time, his reputation spread, and despite his modest wealth, few sensible girls were inclined to associate with him due to his looks and character. In stark contrast stood Jiang Yuan, who was universally recognized as a paragon of attractiveness during their school days. Not only was he academically accomplished, but his upright and sunny disposition made him the quintessential dreamboat in the eyes of every girl. Though Jiang Yuan had dated several girls, it was well known that he never interfered in anyone's relationship and approached each romance with utmost seriousness. His image among the girls remained exceedingly positive, which incited extreme jealousy in Song Xiaofeng. Why should he be favored merely for his looks? This thought festered in Song Xiaofeng's mind, particularly as he recalled the three goddesses he had once idolized in high school, who ultimately chose to embark on romantic relationships with Jiang Yuan. The bitterness he felt was almost palpable, and he seethed with rage at the thought of Jiang Yuan's perceived superiority. Determined to expose Jiang Yuan's shortcomings, Song Xiaofeng plotted in silence. His ire intensified when he caught sight of a beautiful woman beside Jiang Yuan, further fueling his resentment. Unable to contain himself, he approached Jiang Yuan with a sardonic tone, saying, "Jiang Yuan, I recently heard from Su Qingyi that you're now working as a courier, earning a mere 3,000 a month. Since we are old classmates, would you like me to help you find a more respectable job? Rest assured, I can definitely find you something with a salary exceeding 3,000. His words were delivered loudly and laced with sarcasm, ostensibly offering assistance while covertly highlighting Jiang Yuan's current struggles. The once celebrated figure of their school days had now been reduced to a mere delivery worker, and that was precisely the point Song Xiaofeng sought to convey. Upon hearing these words, Jiang Yuan felt a flicker of recognition. Turning around, he confirmed his suspicion. It was indeed that insufferable Song Xiaofeng. Jiang Yuan had always harbored disdain for this man, viewing him as a disgraceful figure who resorted to bullying and physical intimidation against women. He often wielded his family's modest wealth to dominate his classmates, leaving many with lasting psychological scars. Consequently, Jiang Yuan found no inclination to engage with such a despicable individual and chose to ignore Song Xiaofeng entirely. However, upon seeing Jiang Yuan's silence, Song Xiaofeng mistakenly believed that his words had struck a nerve, which filled him with a sense of smug satisfaction. Just as he was about to utter something further to belittle Jiang Yuan, his classmates could no longer hold their tongues and came to Jiang Yuan's defense. What is wrong with being a courier? Work does not distinguish between high and low status. Do not view others through a biased lens. Indeed, Jiang Yuan earns his living through his own abilities, which is nothing to be ashamed of, unlike certain individuals who rely on their familial connections to act recklessly. Even if Jiang Yuan is a courier, he is a handsome one, unlike some who, despite holding managerial positions, remain quite unattractive. Song Xiaofeng, are you not just envious of Jiang Yuan? Here you are, making sarcastic remarks. Is that not shameful? I suggest you apologize to Jiang Yuan. Even before Jiang Yuan could speak, his classmates rallied to defend him. There was no helping it. During their school days, Jiang Yuan excelled academically and was always willing to assist his peers, leaving a lasting impression of kindness. Now, witnessing him being belittled by someone like Song Xiaofeng, they could hardly bear it. Song Xiaofeng was seething inside. However, he quickly composed himself, for his family's business had been thriving in recent years, and soon enough, he would have the opportunity to showcase his prowess within the hotel. At that time, Jiang Yuan would inevitably find himself humiliated. As Song Xiaofeng fell silent, His classmates assumed he was too embarrassed to speak up. The hour grew late, and the class monitor, Yang Tao, ushered them into the hotel. Inside the Tianling Hotel, the decor exuded a technological flair, adorned with cutting-edge designs rich in metallic textures. This tech-savvy hotel was filled with robots serving various purposes. Upon arriving at the designated meeting spot, Jiang Yuan and his companions discovered a woman with coffee-colored waves waiting for them. It was Yao Xiner, one of the three goddesses from her school days. It turned out she was the one who had invited them to the Tianling Hotel, and they were astonished at her current success. Rumor had it that she had worked tirelessly in recent years, building a business from scratch, and her wealth was likely among the top in Nanjing. She had become a true tycoon, and no one had anticipated such a remarkable figure among their old classmates. All the male classmates gazed at Yao Xiner with a hint of awkwardness. During their school years, she was renowned as a goddess, and now, having entered society with her alluring coffee-colored waves, she radiated the charm of a mature woman. Almost all the male classmates couldn't help but steal a few extra glances at her. Song Xiaofeng, in particular, was nearly drooling, his eyes gleaming with desire. He had always held a special fondness for Yao Xiner during their school days. This opportunity was too good to pass up. Just as Song Xiaofeng was engulfed in his lewd and sinister thoughts, Yao Xiner's gaze was fixated intently on Jiang Yuan's face. Despite her efforts to conceal her emotions, the hint of reluctance and nostalgia in her eyes was keenly observed by Jiang Yuan. His heart raced, and he thought to himself, this is not good. During my school days, I once shared a romantic relationship with Yao Xiner. While others may be oblivious to her true nature, I am certainly not. Today's events, I fear, are far from straightforward. Yao Xiner's gaze gradually shifted towards Jiang Yuan, before fixing intently on Jiang Shuying. Who is this woman, possessing a measure of beauty? Why is she in the company of Jiang Yuan? Could she possibly be his new girlfriend? At that moment, an inexplicable surge of fury welled up within Yao Xiner. Chapter 37. The plan of the madwoman. For years, Yao Xiner had refrained from pursuing romantic relationships, as she remained unable to let go of her first love with Jiang Yuan. This lingering sentiment served as one of her primary motivations for striving diligently over the years. Deep within her heart, she still harbored dreams of rekindling the flame with Jiang Yuan. When she learned of Jiang Yuan's new girlfriend, she felt a mix of surprise and acceptance. After all, it was only natural that he would find someone new after such a long time. Nevertheless, her feelings for him lingered intensely, and her gaze towards Jiang Shuying inevitably flickered with a fleeting glimmer of anger and resentment. In recent years, Yao Xiner had transformed into a formidable businesswoman in South City, no longer the naive girl she had been in school. Today, she embodied the essence of a powerful and assertive leader, ready to punish any audacious individuals who dare to challenge her or covet her achievements. As for Jiang Yuan, the man who had so readily cast aside their past, she would certainly mete out some form of retribution, though perhaps it would be slightly tempered, yet still significant. Jiang Yuan possessed keen insight and a profound understanding of Yao Xiner, the madwoman in his life. With just a glance, he discerned one of her underlying thoughts. If she were to develop deeper feelings for him, it would spell trouble of monumental proportions. He resolved not to reveal his true identity carelessly and aimed to portray himself as somewhat lesser, ideally to extinguish any desire she harbored towards him. After all, even a single Yao Xiner posed considerable complications. During their school days, it was not only Yao Xiner who left a lasting negative impression on Jiang Yuan. Other ex-girlfriends had similarly pursued him with relentless determination. These women would stop at nothing to achieve their goal of winning him back. Having personally experienced the machinations of these madwomen, Jiang Yuan wisely chose to remain silent and inconspicuous. You may be strong, but I shall remain unyielding. At that moment, some classmates noticed an unusual aspect of the gathering. There seemed to be fewer female attendees this time. Yao Xiner raised an eyebrow and smiled lightly. Oh, our hotel has limited seating, and it would be uncomfortable for everyone to be crowded together, so I arranged another table for them to gather separately. Jiang Yuan's heart raced. Was this not an obvious attempt to target him? Everyone knew that he had several ex-girlfriends from school. Yao Xiner's intentional arrangement suggested her determination to claim him once more. With this thought, Jiang Yuan's sense of caution deepened. As the old classmates entered the room, they casually found places to sit. However, many of the male students hesitated, reluctant to take their seats, for there was an empty spot beside Yao Xiner, seemingly reserved just for him. During their school years, Yao Xiner had been universally acknowledged as the goddess of the class, inspiring a flicker of fantasy in the hearts of nearly all the male students. Regrettably, Over the course of 3 long years, only Jiang Yuan had ever captured her attention, leaving no opportunity for others. Despite the passage of time, many male classmates secretly harbored hopes of embarking on an undisclosed romance with Yao Xiner, particularly today, as Jiang Yuan had arrived with a companion. It suggested to the onlookers that Yao Xiner might have relinquished her aspirations, thus opening the door for others. However, most male classmates were acutely aware of the reality. Such hopes were destined to remain mere fantasies. After all, Yao Xiner had transformed into a formidable woman, and to act against her wishes would likely invite trouble. With a collective sigh, the male classmates resigned themselves and randomly chose seats. Only Song Xiaofeng, whose mind was clouded with dark and lascivious thoughts, pondered how he might find an opportunity and a pretext to sit beside Yao Xiner. As the saying goes, proximity to the water tower brings forth the moon. Securing a favorable position could indeed provide a chance to exploit the situation. Moreover, given Yao Xiner's exceptional prowess, she could serve as an advantageous stepping stone. Just as Song Xiaofeng racked his brain for a solution, Yao Xiner spoke up directly. "Isn't that Jiang Yuan? It's been a long time. Come, sit beside me. I have something very important to discuss." Her words immediately dimmed the expressions of many male classmates, who felt a wave of disappointment wash over them. Clearly, Yao Xiner had not been deterred by Jiang Yuan's new girlfriend. In fact, many perceptive individuals sensed that Yao Xiner might have come prepared. Meanwhile, Song Xiaofeng's jealousy towards Jiang Yuan deepened, his thoughts seething with resentment. "Damn it, I come from a wealthy family, and now I can't compete with a mere delivery guy in the pursuit of women." Back in school, those foolish girls had only cared for appearances. He couldn't showcase his true self then. Now that they were in society, it was infuriating to see Jiang Yuan, this little courier, thriving. Nonetheless, Jiang Yuan remained nonchalant. "There is no need for that. If you have something important to say, just say it." Yao Xiner, not one to be easily deterred, seemed to have anticipated this response. She lowered her head, a faint smile gracing her lips. "Jiang Yuan, do you remember your first love? Sun Tingting?" The mention of Sun Tingting instantly sent Jiang Yuan into a momentary daze. She was the first woman he had ever loved during his school days. And to this day, she remained the one he had cherished most deeply. Every individual's first love is a unique and cherished memory hidden within. Upon hearing Yao Xiner invoke the name of his first love, Jiang Yuan hesitated for a moment, ultimately taking Jiang Shuriying's hand and sitting beside her. A triumphant smile gradually spread across Yao Xiner's face, as though her plan had come to fruition. However, Jiang Yuan's mood was no longer as lighthearted as it had been at the outset. An unsettling premonition lingered within him, suggesting that Sun Tingting might be in trouble. Otherwise, based on his understanding of Yao Xiner, she would never converse with him in such a tone and manner. "What has happened to Sun Tingting? You may speak now," Jiang Yuan inquired bluntly. Yao Xiner stifled a soft laugh, remarking, "You remain as impatient as ever." She gently leaned her head closer to Jiang Yuan's ear. Then, in a hushed tone, audible only to the two of them, she whispered, "Your first love is not in a good situation. One might even say it is quite dire. I believe that among all the people you know, only I possess the capability to assist her in overcoming this crisis." Chapter 38. The need for strong connections. Jiang Yuan's brow gradually knitted in concern as he inquired, "What has happened to Sun Tingting? Surely, you are not the only one capable of addressing this issue. Please, speak plainly." "I anticipated you would respond in this manner." Yao Xiner chuckled. The bait was slowly taken by the fish. Observing Jiang Yuan step further into her intricate scheme, a triumphant smile crept upon Yao Xiner's lips. Then, she rose with a heavy heart and addressed her fellow classmates, saying, "Dear friends, there is something I must bring to your attention regarding this gathering. Do you remember our classmate, Sun Tingting?" At the mere mention of her name, nearly all the students reminisced about that angelic girl from their school days. Sun Tingting came from a modest background, yet her garments were always impeccably clean. Her bright, clear eyes left an indelible impression on many. She possessed striking beauty and was one of the 3 renowned goddesses alongside Yao Xiner, though she was exceedingly timid and lacked self-confidence, never acknowledging such a title. Most notably, her character was exceptional. She was kind-hearted and possessed a gentle disposition, a girl with the aura of a princess, despite her ordinary upbringing. She was never looked down upon by her peers. Almost every classmate harbored a genuine fondness for this angelic figure, and many male students secretly admired her. Regrettably, only Jiang Yuan had ever captured Sun Tingting's heart, while the others returned empty-handed. For countless boys, Sun Tingting remained a cherished memory, their white moonlight and vermilion mole. Even though many of them were now in relationships, their hearts still held onto dreams and expectations concerning her. Hence, upon hearing her name, their attention was immediately captivated. Yao Exner slowly returned to her seat, her expression fading as she continued. I bear unfortunate news to share, and I hope that those among you with the ability can offer assistance. Sun Tingting's father, Sun Changfeng, has been diagnosed with lung cancer, and their family has nearly liquidated all their assets. While financial matters could be addressed through modern crowdfunding, the true concern lay in the fact that there are only 3 doctors in the country capable of performing surgery on late-stage lung cancer with a reasonable chance of success. Thus, to save Sun Tingting's father, extraordinary connections are essential. Upon hearing Yao Exner's words, the male students visibly paled, their expressions betraying a sense of compassion. After all, it was disheartening to see a once quiet, gentle, and kind classmate suddenly beset by such a nightmarish ordeal. Even Jiang Yuan could not help but frown deeply. Years without contact, and now his first love faced such dire circumstances. Only the dark and despicable character of Song Xiaofeng began to feel an unsettling joy and anticipation within. Rather than experiencing any semblance of sympathy, he perceived that his opportunity had finally arrived. In the past, Song Xiaofeng had been one of the suitors vying for Sun Tingting's affection. Unlike other beautiful girls, Sun Tingting was renowned for her exceptional personality, which compelled Song Xiaofeng to invest considerable effort in her pursuit. He not only showered her with gifts and concern, but also sought every occasion to showcase his talents, all in the hope of eliciting a smile from her and ultimately winning her heart. However, despite his relentless efforts over the course of more than a year, Sun Tingting ended up in a relationship with Jiang Yuan. Upon learning this disheartening news, Song Xiaofeng felt as though his heart had been shattered, his anger boiling to the point of eruption. He harbored a deep-seated resentment, wishing nothing less than for Jiang Yuan and Sun Tingting to suffer dire consequences. Now, upon hearing the unfortunate tidings from Sun Tingting's family, Song Xiaofeng's imagination ignited with visions of himself as a gallant hero swooping in to rescue her from her dire predicament, aiding her and her father in overcoming their troubles, and thus claiming her heart as his rightful prize. With this thought racing through his mind, he immediately rose to his feet, thumping his chest with confidence. Rest assured, this matter is in my capable hands, he declared. His bold proclamation immediately drew the attention of his male classmates, who regarded him with newfound admiration. It was known that the Song family's medical enterprise had flourished significantly in recent years, reaching a pinnacle of success. Indeed, while Song Xiaofeng may not have been remarkable himself, his family's business was undeniably thriving, especially within the medical sector, where they wielded considerable influence in the southern city. Many classmates were genuinely concerned about Sun Tingting's situation, yet felt powerless to assist. In this moment, Song Xiaofeng's sudden declaration ignited a spark of hope among them. The attention he commanded felt akin to being the center of a celestial gathering, a sensation that nearly overwhelmed him with pleasure. Yao Exiner cast a fleeting glance at Song Xiaofeng, a knowing smile gracing her lips. She spoke, "Oh, if you can indeed offer assistance, please reach out to the relevant personnel and see if you can arrange an appointment with Dr. Jiang Huaixing." Under the watchful gaze of his peers, Song Xiaofeng brimmed with confidence. Although he had little involvement in his family's medical business and was unfamiliar with this Dr. Jiang, he was certain that within the realm of healthcare in the southern city, the doctor would certainly extend him a favor. Thus, he promptly retrieved his phone, dialing the numbers of his relatives and father. "Dad, could you help me schedule an appointment with a doctor? A classmate's father is gravely ill. Yes, it's lung cancer." With a few succinct words, Song Xiaofeng hung up, radiating confidence. His classmates looked at him with eager anticipation. "Rest assured, we should receive a call back shortly," he proclaimed, holding his head high. Yao Exner offered a gentle smile, prompting the servers to bring forth an abundance of fine wines and exquisite dishes to the table, allowing everyone to indulge while they awaited further developments. Approximately 17 minutes later, Song Xiaofeng's phone rang. Upon answering, he was met with a voice that bore a tone of regret and melancholy. As he listened, his expression darkened with each passing moment, ultimately leading him to helplessly end the call. Witnessing this scene, the hearts of all his classmates tightened with concern. Chapter 39. The slap in the face of Song Xiaofeng on the other end of the line. A voice filled with apologies echoed repeatedly. "Young master, I sincerely apologize. We have truly exhausted nearly all our connections and have attempted to communicate with everyone we could. However, it is simply impossible to arrange this matter. Doctor, Jiang's identity is extraordinarily unique. He is one of the foremost medical experts in the country, having led the resolution of countless medical challenges. And many medical patents he holds have the potential to shatter world records. He is even the only individual in recent years to have been featured as a medical expert in the renowned foreign magazine Time. While we do have some business connections in the medical field in Nansheng, it is quite unrealistic to engage such a medical expert. As Song Xiaofeng listened, his expression grew increasingly grim. In the end, he could only hang up the phone in frustration. Currently, Dr. Jiang is a top-tier technical expert, with countless individuals seeking appointments with him daily. In truth, it is likely impossible for anyone from Nansheng to secure an appointment, he stated brazenly, unaware of the implications of his words. In an effort to salvage some face, he exaggerated the difficulty of scheduling an appointment with Dr. Jiang. Otherwise, given his earlier bravado, it would have been utterly humiliating to have failed to accomplish the task. Consequently, he hastily concluded that securing an appointment would be exceedingly difficult for anyone in Nanjing. His classmates could not help but feel a sense of disappointment. Their disillusionment stemmed not only from the high expectations they had for Song Xiaofeng, but also from the unfair fate that befell the angelic Sun Tingting. Among the old classmates present, Song Xiaofeng was one of the few who had managed to achieve a modicum of success, albeit through the influence of his father. If even Song Xiaofeng found himself at a loss, it seemed that those few old classmates who might have been able to assist were almost non-existent. Jiang Yuan cast a sidelong glance at Song Xiaofeng, but remained silent. Instead, he discreetly took out his mobile phone and dialed Manager Wang of the Fiskalton restaurant. Just as Song Xiaofeng was grappling with his embarrassment, feeling a burning sensation on his face, he noticed Jiang Yuan's phone call and could not suppress a disdainful scoff. If even I cannot handle this person, what makes you think you can reach him? You clearly lack awareness of your own limitations. Yao Xiner observed Jiang Yuan's phone call with an expression of exasperation. What can a mere courier accomplish? You might as well come to me for help. At this reunion, Yao Xiner had seized upon Jiang Yuan's Achilles heel, his first love, Sun Tingting. She had meticulously prepared this trump card, intending to reveal this information to Jiang Yuan at this opportune moment. Simultaneously, she conveyed this matter to everyone present, aiming to impress upon Jiang Yuan a crucial point. The only person capable of providing assistance in this situation was Yao Xiner herself. She was entirely confident that Jiang Yuan would go to great lengths for his first love, Sun Tingting. In moments of desperation and despair, she would extend her hand to assist him. As for the price, it was imperative that Jiang Yuan reconcile with her. Yao Xiner took a delicate sip of the red wine in her glass, calmly observing Jiang Yuan as he made a phone call, eagerly anticipating his futile struggle. On the other end of the line was Manager Wang. Thanks to Jiang Yuan's previous endeavors, Manager Wang had successfully auctioned off an ancient artifact for a staggering 60 billion. Although the entirety of this fortune belonged to Jiang Yuan, Manager Wang had also reaped considerable benefits. During the auction process, he had forged connections with some of the most distinguished antique aficionados in Nan City, each a luminary in their respective fields. At this moment, Manager Wang not only had access to numerous avenues, but had also secured a wealth of collaborative opportunities. Thus, his sentiments towards Jiang Yuan were a blend of gratitude and admiration. Initially, Manager Wang regarded Jiang Yuan merely as an ordinary superior, treating him with outward respect while inwardly harboring skepticism. However, at this juncture, his attitude had evolved into profound appreciation and reverence. When a call came in, Manager Wang answered promptly, recognizing Jiang Yuan's name, and immediately addressed him with utmost deference. "Boss, how may I assist you?" "Everything is within my capabilities." Jiang Yuan succinctly relayed the situation regarding Sun Tingting and her father's battle with lung cancer, instructing Manager Wang to contact a doctor named Jiang Xingtian. Upon hearing the matter, Manager Wang confidently assured that he would exhaust all efforts to reach the doctor. Jiang Yuan acknowledged with a brief before ending the call. Immediately after hanging up, Manager Wang set about leveraging his network to facilitate contact with the physician. Simultaneously, he directed his subordinates to investigate Sun Tingting and her father's illness, seeking alternative ways to assist the family. Once Jiang Yuan concluded the call, he lifted his gaze only to find the surrounding crowd regarding him with an unusual intensity. Notably, Song Xiaofeng's expression was one of blatant disdain and scorn. Everyone was acutely aware that Jiang Yuan was merely a courier with a meager salary of 3,000. And even if he wished to assist Sun Tingting with overtime, it was an arduous task. Observing this, Jiang Shiying instinctively sought to speak on Jiang Yuan's behalf. However, he calmly gestured for her to refrain. Song Xiaofeng seized the opportunity to provoke, interpreting Jiang Yuan's call as a direct affront, even mocking him. Oh, what is this? Can our young master, Jiang, actually afford to engage this doctor? I am eager to see. He taunted, his tone dripping with sarcasm and mockery. Song Xiaofeng's demeanor was utterly detestable. Though his classmates yearned to defend Jiang Yuan, they hesitated to voice their thoughts. Jiang Yuan's act of making a phone call was undeniably provocative towards Song Xiaofeng, especially given that he had just revealed his own failure. Jiang Yuan's immediate response was nothing short of a blatant attempt to undermine him. As the atmosphere grew increasingly tense, Yao Xiner finally spoke up. I might have a way to get in touch with Dr. Jiang. As she uttered these words, her gaze fixated intently on Jiang Yuan's face. Her intentions unmistakably clear, a blatant threat and a proposition. Yao Xiner's objective was to compel Jiang Yuan to personally plead with her, shattering his proud self-esteem. Subsequently, she aimed to reduce Jiang Yuan to nothing more than her plaything. This deranged woman, surprisingly unchanged after all these years, made Jiang Yuan shake his head slightly in disbelief. It was indeed very much in line with Yao Xiner's character. Jiang Yuan, maintaining his composure, cast a sidelong glance at her without uttering a word. After approximately 5 minutes, a phone call finally came through. Upon answering, Jiang Yuan discovered it was Manager Wang on the line. From the other end came a voice, "Boss, everything has been taken care of." Chapter 40. Jiang Yuan, what is your true identity? Jiang Yuan responded with a faint hum, simply stating, "As long as it's done." Just 5 straightforward words, yet they resonated clearly in the ears of nearly everyone present. The expressions on their faces varied widely. Most of the students dismissed the matter, believing that Jiang Yuan merely sought to provoke and ridicule Song Xiaofeng. After all, they were well aware of the clout that Song Xiaofeng's family wielded. Despite his despicable character, the medical company his family operated was among the top 5 in Nanjing. If he could not manage this task, how could Jiang Yuan possibly accomplish it in such a short time with just a phone call? Particularly skeptical was Yao Xiner, who had been the first to engage with this situation. She understood all too well the immense effort and connections required to secure an appointment with Dr. Jiang. Even with her considerable resources, handling this matter was quite challenging. How could Jiang Yuan possibly succeed? The most vehement reaction came from Song Xiaofeng, who immediately exploded in anger. I've begged and pleaded for so long to no avail, and you, with a mere 5 minutes on the phone, have resolved it? Who would believe that? Jiang Yuan, are you just pretending to be impressive to humiliate me? Have you even considered whether you have a standing to do so? In a fit of rage, Song Xiaofeng tore off his fade, speaking with unrestrained scorn. Go ahead, keep pretending. What has a delivery worker with a monthly salary of 3,000 accomplished? Gulme, enlighten us all on what you've actually done. Faced with Song Xiaofeng's rude and aggressive interrogation, Jiang Yuan remained composed, choosing to disregard such an insipid individual. He had long recognized the true nature of people like Song Xiaofeng and saw no reason to waste his breath on such a person. Before Jiang Yuan could respond, Yao Xiner interjected, her eyes wide and brow raised. When Jiang Yuan states that it's done, it is indeed done. Is it necessary for you to speak in such a sarcastic tone? This meal today is on me, and if you're displeased, I suggest you leave. I believe no one here welcomes a rude person spewing sarcasm. Yao Xiner's words were direct, effectively issuing an ultimatum to Song Xiaofeng. She made it clear that should he continue his unreasonable behavior towards Jiang Yuan, he would be promptly shown the door. Song Xiaofeng's face fluctuated between shades of blue and white. The atmosphere grew tense, with an unmistakable edge. There was no doubt that Jiang Yuan was Yao Xner's Achilles heel, and Song Xiaofeng's blatant disrespect towards Jiang Yuan was a direct affront to her. Just as the tension reached a boiling point, Song Xiaofeng's phone rang. He answered the call and discovered it was his father on the line. Song, regarding the matter you just asked me about, there is now a breakthrough. Upon hearing these words, a surge of ecstatic joy washed over Song Xiaofeng's face. Dad, how did you manage to resolve it so quickly? Did you get in touch with someone influential? You're incredible. As it happened just moments ago, a significant figure from Nanjing had contacted Dr. Jiang. Dr. Jiang indicated he would make a special trip to Nanjing, and if he had the time and energy, he might be able to assist you. I only just received this news, which is why I hurried to inform you. Upon hearing this, Song Xiaofeng's expression suddenly stiffened. A prominent individual reached out to Dr. Jiang just now. Anxiously, he shifted his gaze to Jiang Yuan's face. Observing the calm and indifferent demeanor that adorned Jiang Yuan's features, a wave of profound unease surged within him. Could it be? No, it cannot be. It must merely be a coincidence. Though a conjecture had begun to form in his mind, he resolutely refused to believe it. He could only continue to reassure himself with the notion of coincidence, for surely in this world, even the most improbable events can occur. The timing was indeed peculiar. Immediately after Jiang Yuan made a phone call, his father informed him that a significant figure had contacted Dr. Zhang. While the situation was undeniably strange, perhaps it was simply a straightforward coincidence, Song Xiaofeng repeatedly told himself. Meanwhile, Yao Exin, observing the rapid change in his expression, felt a twinge of confusion. What on earth was happening to him? Why did he look as if he had seen a ghost? At that moment, Yao Xin's phone rang as well. Upon answering, her expression soon mirrored his own, shifting dramatically. Miss Yao, a prominent figure has contacted Dr. Jiang ahead of us. He will be arriving in Nanjing shortly. Who contacted Dr. Jiang? Is the person's surname Jiang? Is it Jiang Yuan? That we are not certain of. Further investigation is required. She glanced at Jiang Yuan, and her expression transformed into one of intense intrigue. Yet, Jiang Yuan remained unperturbed, casually bantering and sipping wine with Jiang Shuriying. The many old classmates present regarded Song Xiaofeng and Yao Exin with bewilderment, utterly perplexed as to why their glances toward Jiang Yuan were laden with an indescribable significance. Shock, fear, confusion, and a deep-seated astonishment mingled in their expressions. However, Jiang Yuan chose not to shatter this delicate veil of ignorance. He had no desire to unveil his identity, as doing so would only create a palpable distance between him and his old classmates, a sensation he found unappealing. His simple and unpretentious desire was to share a meal with them as old friends. Yet, Yao Xin found herself increasingly restless, feeling as if she were sitting on pins and needles. If her conjecture were indeed true, it would render all of his plans for today somewhat absurd and nonsensical. After all, if Jiang Yuan had truly concealed his identity, then she would appear as nothing more than a jester, attempting to threaten him with such trivial conditions. Chapter 41. Borrowed. Surely borrowed during the meal, everyone harbored their own thoughts. Only Jiang Yuan and Jiang Shuriying simply relished the delightful cuisine without any ulterior motives. Meanwhile, Song Xiaofeng and Yao Xiner appeared somewhat bewildered. Yao Xiner felt a tumult of emotions, a mix of surprise and joy. She was astonished by Jiang Yuan's true identity, yet uncertain whether it was merely a happenstance. Song Xiaofeng repeatedly reassured himself that it was all just a coincidence. Jiang Yuan, however, felt at ease regarding his first love and bore no worries. According to Manager Wang, Dr. Jiang Huaixing had already been contacted, and he could be summoned to Nansheng within 2 days. This physician seemed exceptionally skilled, alleviating concerns about Sun Tingting's father's life being in peril. Although lung cancer posed a significant threat, Dr. Jiang possessed a unique understanding of the illness and had achieved remarkable academic accomplishments, boasting a high success rate in surgeries. Jiang Yuan held a favorable impression of Sun Tingting's father, viewing him as an open-minded and broad-minded middle-aged man. During her school days, her father did not oppose Jiang Yuan's relationship with Sun Tingting. In fact, he even encouraged their romance. Unfortunately, Sun Tingting's mother was excessively fierce and strictly forbade her from dating, especially someone from a modest background like Jiang Yuan. Thus, under her mother's relentless intervention, Jiang Yuan reluctantly ended his first love, which became a lingering knot in his heart. Now, an opportunity seemed to present itself to untie that knot. Memories of his youth surged like a tide, swirling endlessly in his mind. In a fleeting moment, he found himself transported back to that innocent era, living a carefree life with his first love, Sun Tingting. Suddenly, Jiang Yuan felt a strong desire to visit the hospital where Sun Tingting was. The meal concluded quickly, and many male classmates shared a similar thought. We should visit Sun Tingting at the hospital. Her family has faced such an unexpected misfortune and surely needs support. Let us see how we can assist, and perhaps even raise some funds for her. Even if our contributions are modest, collective effort can yield great strength, and we can collaborate on a crowdfunding initiative, believing her family will overcome this hardship. Listening to his classmates, Jiang Yuan was moved and nodded in agreement. In contrast, Song Xiaofeng's mind was filled with lascivious and dark thoughts. The mere idea of soon meeting his schoolboy crush, Sun Tingting, filled him with excitement and impulse. He also conceived an amusing notion. This large group would need transportation to the hospital. Surely, they wouldn't take a taxi. Thus, he could seize the opportunity to flaunt his luxury car, basking in his own self-satisfaction. In recent years, his family business has flourished significantly, and his father has gifted him the latest model from the Mercedes-Benz series. Reflecting on this, Song Xiaofeng promptly declared, I happen to have driven here today. Why not let me give a few people a ride? However, it can only accommodate 3 passengers. The classmates, aware of his intentions, could only perceive his blatant desire to show off, which was rather irksome. Without delay, Song Xiaofeng hastened to the parking lot and emerged with his brand-new Mercedes-Benz X-Series sports car, a vehicle that commands a staggering price of 7 million yuan in the market. As he sat in the driver's seat, slowly steering the car out, the anticipation of this luxurious automobile capturing the attention of all around him filled him with exhilaration. As expected, when his classmates laid eyes on the vehicle, they couldn't help but exclaim how different their fates were, lamenting that this truly is an era defined by parental influence. I would need to work for 30 years to afford such a car, one sighed, while another expressed envy for the affluent second generation, noting that even a modest vehicle would require loans to acquire. Song Xiaofeng's ostentatious display of wealth, a trait he exhibited during school years, persisted even after all this time, much to the dismay of his peers. In the past, Jiang Yuan could have kept him in check, but now, alas, he indeed possessed the means to flaunt his wealth, for this car alone must be worth over 1 million, a true testament to luxury. Amidst the envious gazes of his classmates, Song Xiaofeng reveled in immense satisfaction. He arrogantly announced, anyone wishing to ride in my car may line up to register. Ladies first. His demeanor was exceedingly obnoxious, eliciting a mix of exasperation and anger from many male students, who found themselves powerless against his brashness. At that moment, a stunning Lamborghini Huracan rolled out beside him, its design captivating and bold, the doors opening like the wings of a butterfly, truly a sight to behold. In stark contrast, Song Xiaofeng's Mercedes-Benz appeared almost pitiful, akin to a beggar encountering royalty, utterly incomparable in stature. As the Lamborghini entered the students' line of sight, it instantly commanded their full attention. If one were to liken the beauty of women to these cars, Song Xiaofeng's Mercedes would merely qualify as a decent-class beauty, while the Lamborghini undoubtedly represented a stunning campus belle. Wow, that car is incredible. Could it belong to one of our classmates? Someone speculated, noticing its prolonged presence. Clearly, it must be one of our own, another remarked, astonished. Impressive. Who knew we had such a remarkable classmate, keeping a low profile? Song Xiaofeng was exceedingly discontented, never anticipating that he would not be the sole center of attention at the gathering. Having just arrived in a luxury car, he was taken aback to see another individual emerge from a vehicle far superior to his own. The humiliation was unbearable. As the crowd beheld Jiang Yuan stepping out from the driver's seat, their eyes widened in astonishment. Particularly, Song Xiaofeng's gaze nearly bulged from its sockets. It was indeed Jiang Yuan, and it was he who drove this magnificent car. This vehicle must have been borrowed by Jiang Yuan. How could a mere courier possibly afford such an extravagant automobile? Surely, he had borrowed it to make a grand impression at the reunion. A desperate attempt to maintain appearances. A brazen scoundrel. Song Xiaofeng's eyes reddened with envy. Yao Xiner, possessing a keen intuition, was not as foolish as Song Xiaofeng. Upon seeing Jiang Yuan in that incredibly stylish Lamborghini Huracan, she immediately recalled the earlier phone call. A wave of suspicion washed over her. Could it be that Jiang Yuan had concealed his true identity? What, then, was his genuine identity? Chapter 42. Visiting the hospital, the group drove swiftly and soon arrived at the South City First People's Hospital to visit Sun Tingting. Under Yao Xiner's guidance, Jiang Yuan quickly met Sun Tingting, who was accompanied by her mother, Tang Yueqin. Although he had mentally prepared himself before coming, Jiang Yuan was still momentarily taken aback upon seeing Sun Tingting. In his memories, she was a vibrant and charming young beauty, slender, with exquisite features, fair skin, and an oval face. However, years had elapsed, and Sun Tingting had blossomed into a woman, embodying the saying that a woman transforms significantly as she matures. Now, Sun Tingting was breathtakingly beautiful, superbly so. It was evident that she had grown taller, her demeanor exuding a mature and composed elegance. Her figure had developed alluring curves, accentuating her front and back. Her features had become even more enchanting, complemented by her flowing chestnut hair, making her a striking beauty that could easily rival Jiang Shuying. Even Jiang Yuan, accustomed to seeing beautiful women, couldn't help but mentally applaud her. This girl had truly become increasingly stunning, possessing a hint of the allure often associated with femme fatale. Almost all the male classmates were captivated upon encountering Sun Tingting, their eyes lighting up in admiration. In this age of rapid information dissemination, one could encounter a plethora of internet-famous faces everywhere. Yet, few could match Sun Tingting's natural beauty. which shone without the need for makeup, allowing her delicate features and graceful presence to stand out remarkably. Many male classmates, upon seeing such a beauty, were immediately stirred by thoughts of admiration. Particularly, Song Xiaofeng's gaze was nearly unabashedly hungry, as if he were yearning to possess her completely. He felt a rush of saliva at the corner of his mouth, realizing that his judgment from years past had been undeniably correct. The once slightly immature, yet undeniably gorgeous girl had transformed over the years into someone exceptionally stunning. The naive fruit had finally ripened. This time, he resolved to seize the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win her heart, all while avenging the grievances of their past in front of Jiang Yuan. The memory of Jiang Yuan effortlessly overshadowing him with that Lamborghini Huracan and only fueled Song Xiaofeng's resentment. He seethed internally, "You poor Jiang Yuan. Do not think that borrowing a luxury car can truly threaten me." However, it was lamentable that such a beautiful Sun Tingting appeared with red-rimmed eyes and a pallid face, clearly distressed by her father's uncertain battle with lung cancer. She seemed to have gone several days without proper nourishment, exuding an endearing vulnerability. As Jiang Yuan and his companions watched this scene with a pang of sympathy, Sun Tingting noticed them. "Brother Jiang Yuan, is that you?" she exclaimed in delight. Upon seeing him, she rushed into Jiang Yuan's embrace without hesitation, bursting into tears. In recent years, she had not sought the affection of any other man, as she could not let go of her first love, Jiang Yuan. At this moment, she found herself at a low point in her life, desperately in need of a comforting embrace. To her astonishment, Jiang Yuan miraculously reappeared before her, evoking a sense of unexpected delight. Her male classmates looked on enviously at Jiang Yuan, while Jiang Shiying, ever perceptive, chose to remain silent. Although the sight of Jiang Yuan holding another girl stirred feelings of jealousy within her, she understood the girl's plight and deemed her reaction excusable given the circumstances. Song Xiaofeng, however, was visibly displeased. Just as he was about to intervene and halt the embrace between Jiang Yuan and Sun Tingting, it was Sun Tingting's mother, Tang Yueqin, who spoke up with a furrowed brow. "Tingting, what are you doing in public? Aren't you embarrassed?" "Let him go," she said, her tone distinctly disapproving. Tang Yueqin remembered Jiang Yuan all too well. She had been the one to separate him from her daughter years prior. In her memory, Jiang Yuan came from a family of modest means and seemed destined for mediocrity. Now, facing a dire situation with her husband battling lung cancer and in need of substantial funds for surgery, the only hope for her family lay in Sun Tingting. She could not allow her daughter to rekindle old flames with Jiang Yuan, for that would extinguish their last glimmer of hope. Yet, Sun Tingting was oblivious to her mother's deeper concerns, interpreting her words merely as a call for modesty. Her cheeks flushed as she reluctantly stepped away from Jiang Yuan's comforting embrace, feeling a sense of security in his presence that she wished could linger longer. The weight of her father's illness had left her emotionally drained, teetering on the edge of despair, and she craved the warmth of protection. As thoughts of her father clouded her expression, Song Xiaofeng suddenly had a bright idea. Seizing the moment, he declared, "Aunt Tang, Tingting, don't worry. I might be able to help with Uncle Sun's situation." His proclamation immediately captured Tang Yueqin's attention. "Do you really have a solution?" she asked, her surprise palpable. Song Xiaofeng nodded confidently. He continued, with an air of nonchalance, "I've already contacted Dr. Jiang Huaixing, the most experienced lung cancer specialist in the nation. I believe he can certainly address Uncle Sun's condition." Upon hearing this, hope flickered in Tang Yueqin's eyes. Meanwhile, Jiang Yuan felt a slight frown crease his brow. Song Xiaofeng was brazenly taking credit for something that was clearly his own initiative in bringing Dr. Jiang to Nanqing. However, Jiang Yuan chose not to expose him, knowing that the truth would soon reveal itself. Tang Yueqin expressed her concerns, saying, "However, this will require a substantial fee, and our family situation may not." Song Xiaofeng immediately reassured her, "Aunt, please don't worry. I can find a way to handle the financial matters. Furthermore, it's not difficult to initiate crowdfunding. I happen to have connections." Upon hearing this, Tang Yueqin's gaze towards Song Xiaofeng transformed, filled with admiration and gratitude. Deep down, Song Xiaofeng thought, "This time, I must have impressed her." Chapter 43. Song Xiaofeng was infuriated. Upon hearing that there was a solution for her husband's ailment, Tang Yueqin immediately sought a particularly esteemed medical expert. Furthermore, this expert could assist in fundraising and alleviate the exorbitant medical expenses. She felt an overwhelming sense of astonishment and relief wash over her. Tang Yueqin's perception of Song Xiaofeng transformed, finding him exceedingly agreeable and leaving a favorable impression. In truth, Tang Yueqin possessed an exceptional memory. She recalled vividly how fervently Song Xiaofeng had pursued Sun Tingting in the past. She had even made inquiries about him, discovering that Song Xiaofeng hailed from a prominent medical family in Nansheng, thriving in business. Had her daughter been with someone as promising and well-connected as Song Xiaofeng, she would have undoubtedly prevented any interference in their romance. Alas, fate had other plans, and her daughter had chosen a penniless man, Jiang Yuan, a rather poor choice. However, it seemed that reclaiming that opportunity was not too late. If her daughter could marry into wealth, she, as the mother-in-law, would naturally enjoy a life of comfort. Tang Yueqin, being astute and worldly, recognized that Song Xiaofeng would not lend his assistance without ulterior motives. His interest was undoubtedly in her daughter, Sun Tingting. A glimmer of realization crossed her mind as she began contemplating how to persuade her daughter to accept Song Xiaofeng. Yao Xin'er observed everything silently. Her curiosity piqued about Jiang Yuan's true identity and the cards he held. She was particularly interested in what capabilities Song Xiaofeng could unlock within him. The day's events had far exceeded her initial plans. She had intended to leverage Sun Tingting's situation to coerce Jiang Yuan into acquiescing to her demands. Yet now, it appeared that circumstances had taken a different turn, igniting her curiosity about Jiang Yuan's genuine identity. She decided to remain an observer for the time being, eager to discern whether Jiang Yuan possessed true abilities or was merely posturing. For her, Jiang Yuan was a quarry, and the more valuable the prey, the greater the thrill. She anticipated that her quarry might indeed hold substantial worth. Song Xiaofeng, adept at reading the room, understood the importance of seizing the moment. Therefore, he promptly reassured, Annie, rest assured, Dr. Jiang will arrive by tomorrow at the latest. I believe your husband's condition will soon improve. Upon hearing Song Xiaofeng's assurance, the heavy burden on Tang Yueqin's heart finally lifted. Yet concerns about the medical expenses lingered. But how will we manage the costs? She fretted. Please don't worry about that. Leave it to me, Song Xiaofeng promptly assured her. Simultaneously, a clever idea struck him to pressure Jiang Yuan. Thus, he announced loudly, classmates. Although my family possesses connections that could potentially facilitate external donations, it is said that distant water cannot quench present fire. Experts are arriving tomorrow. Yet the medical expenses are evidently still insufficient. Therefore, I propose to initiate an on-site fundraising effort to assist Sun Tingting's family, and I shall personally lead by donating 100,000 yuan, 100,000. Upon hearing that Song Xiaofeng intends to contribute such a substantial sum, the faces of the other classmates are filled with astonishment. Clearly, Song Xiaofeng's action is merely an attempt to show off, to seek the limelight. This is a staggering amount, equivalent to 3 months' salary for someone working in a first-tier city. Even with a high-paying job, it seems that Song Xiaofeng possesses some wealth, effortlessly donating such a large sum. Perhaps he has ulterior motives. Just look at Sun Tingting's beauty. She surpasses many popular female influencers. It appears he might truly succeed this time. Song Xiaofeng is not entirely foolish. He understands that Sun Tingting's family is currently in dire straits, and he seeks to exploit this opportunity for his own gain. Under Song Xiaofeng's leadership, other classmates feel compelled to contribute as well, each donating varying amounts. I will contribute 5,000. I will give 8,000. I will donate 7,000. I will give 10,000. All eyes are focused on Song Xiaofeng, with only Yao Xin'er glancing at Jiang Yuan, eagerly anticipating his donation. Meanwhile, Song Xiaofeng discreetly observes Jiang Yuan from the corner of his eye, hoping to catch a glimpse of anxiety on his face. Unfortunately, Jiang Yuan appears unfazed, wearing an expression of calm indifference, seemingly unaffected by the situation. That pesky fellow is quite adept at maintaining his composure. Song Xiaofeng feels a surge of irritation. He despises seeing Jiang Yuan in such a pretentious state. What frustrates him further is that Sun Tingting's gaze has never strayed from Jiang Yuan, even after he announced his generous donation. She hasn't even glanced at him once. Unable to tolerate this any longer, Song Xiaofeng decides to take the initiative. Jiang Yuan, since everyone else has donated, why don't you contribute a little as well? It would seem rather inappropriate for you to abstain from donating when the rest of us are here. Song Xiaofeng remarked with a sarcastic tone. Faced with Song Xiaofeng, Jiang Yuan is disinclined to engage with such a person. However, it is prudent to offer a brief explanation. I will certainly contribute, but it will not be through your hands. It seems you have a history of misappropriating class funds during your school days, Jiang Yuan replied coolly. Jiang Yuan's words are neither harsh nor dismissive. He merely states a fact. Many classmates recall Song Xiaofeng's unscrupulous character from their school days. In an instant, doubt fills the eyes of the classmates as they glance at Song Xiaofeng. Could he be unrepentant, still contemplating the misappropriation of these funds? Song Xiaofeng's composure falters, and he shouts indignantly, "It's one thing if you're too stingy to donate, but don't slander me." Jiang Yuan's expression remained calm as he articulated each word with precision. Firstly, I never stated that I would withhold my donation. Naturally, the fund will be transferred to Sun Tingting's account. Secondly, it appears illogical to insist that my contribution must pass through your hands. You seem to overestimate your own significance. Lastly, I am not casting aspersions, but merely recounting your past misdeeds. If you perceive this as a slanderous attack, then I must conclude that your intelligence is rather lacking. Jiang Yuan maintained an even tone. However, as Song Xiaofeng listened, his face grew increasingly flushed, nearly succumbing to a hypertensive episode from Jiang Yuan's words, his frustration boiling to the surface. Ironically, he found himself at a loss for retort, which only intensified his fury. Chapter 44. Jiang Yuan, you are truly remarkable. Tang Yuqin could no longer bear to watch. Song Xiaofeng was the man her daughter had envisioned as the perfect match. How could he be humiliated by a penniless Jiang Yuan? This would undoubtedly tarnish his image in Sun Tingting's eyes. Dear student Jiang, I implore you to exercise some courtesy and refrain from baselessly casting doubts upon Xiaofeng, Tang Yuqin admonished. Mom, what are you saying? Jiang Yuan is only looking out for our interests. Sun Tingting felt her mother was behaving oddly. Tang Yuqin, her face darkened, retorted, Xiaofeng has generously offered us financial assistance. Just listen to the words he speaks. Are those the words of a rational person? Mom, how can you say that? Jiang Yuan is acting out of kindness. You cannot speak of him that way. Sun Tingting's annoyance began to surface. Upon witnessing Tang Yuqin's unwavering support, Song Xiaofeng regained his confidence and, with an air of superiority, whispered into Jiang Yuan's ear, "Do you see this? You are destined to lose. With Sun Tingting's mother backing me, what gives you the audacity to oppose me?" Jiang Yuan's expression gradually shifted, becoming more impassive. Anyone familiar with him would recognize that this indicated a faint stir of anger within. Initially, he had merely wished to reunite with old friends, but the situation had spiraled beyond his expectations. For Tingting's sake, I will contribute 3 million, Jiang Yuan declared. Upon hearing this, Song Xiaofeng burst into laughter. Jiang Yuan, there is no need for you to speak in anger. Do you think we are all simpletons with negative IQs? With the troubles at Tingting's home, we are all concerned. You should not make such reckless statements. They could hurt Tingting. I advise you to apologize to her family immediately, or even I shall not forgive you. The expressions on the classmates' faces varied, yet they generally believed Jiang Yuan was merely venting his frustrations. After all, Song Xiaofeng's donation of 100,000 was within their realm of comprehension, equivalent to 3 months' wages. However, 3 million was an entirely different matter. It was a sum they could not hope to earn in 30 years. The notion that Jiang Yuan could casually promise such a donation was utterly preposterous. Sun Tingting asserted loudly, if Brother Jiang Yuan says he will donate that amount, then he will. There is no need for your sarcastic comments. Jiang Yuan, touched by Sun Tingting's support, affectionately ruffled her hair, smoothing down the strands. Amidst the tension, a doctor clad in a white coat entered, bearing a gentle demeanor. Congratulations! Our hospital has just received the latest news. The esteemed medical expert, Dr. Jiang Huaixing, will arrive tomorrow to perform surgery on Old Sun, he announced. Old Sun, referred to here, was Sun Tingting's father and Tang Yuqin's husband. Upon hearing the news of her father's salvation, Sun Tingting's eyes welled with tears, and she could not help but burst into heartfelt sobs, collapsing into Jiang Yuan's embrace. Jiang Yuan gently patted her head, whispering soothing words in her ear. Tang Yuqin, equally overjoyed, wore a smile of profound relief. Meanwhile, the doctor in the white coat casually remarked, "You all should express your gratitude to Manager Wang. He orchestrated all of this." Manager Wang? The unfamiliar name caused Song Xiaofeng's expression to stiffen momentarily. Earlier, in a bid to claim credit, he had boasted that everything was arranged by his family. If this Manager Wang happened to appear, his ruse would be exposed, leading to an immense embarrassment. Anxiety began to stir within him. Surely, it was improbable that such a significant figure would visit a hospital to see an ailing old man. However, quite inconveniently at that moment, a plump middle-aged man appeared at the door. He was laden with various items, all nutritious delicacies like dangshin and black-bone chicken, intended to comfort the sick. It was none other than Manager Wang from the Faizakarten restaurant. The doctor in the white coat pointed at him and said, "Speak of the devil. Here is Manager Wang." All eyes turned toward him. "Jiang Shao, I have completed the tasks you entrusted to me," Manager Wang said in a hushed tone, displaying his signature sycophantic smile to Jiang Yuan. Simultaneously, he extended the items in his hands to Sun Tingting and her mother. "This is just a small token of my appreciation. Please accept it," he smiled, as Tang Yuqin opened the package. She was astonished to find it filled with extremely expensive nutritional products. Just a small quantity of such items would fetch thousands in the market, and the substantial amount before her must be worth at least several tens of thousands. "Are you a friend of my husband?" Tang Yuqin's voice trembled as she inquired. She was entirely unacquainted with this stranger and could not fathom why he would extend such kindness to her family. "I am under Jiang Shao's command. All of this is at his behest," Manager Wang replied. Jiang Shao. The mention of this title caused the expressions of everyone present to shift dramatically. Among them, the only individual with the surname Jiang was Jiang Yuan. Given Manager Wang's earlier demeanor towards him, it was clear he referred to Jiang Yuan. Tang Yuqin was momentarily frozen in disbelief. Her face etched with shock as she gazed at Jiang Yuan as if he were a completely foreign entity. The impoverished Jiang Yuan of yesteryears had seemingly transformed over the past few years. Had she inadvertently spurned a golden opportunity for her daughter by disrupting their union? Most critically, she had just been so cold and disrespectful towards Jiang Yuan. If she had offended him, she risked losing this chance a second time. Upon this realization, Tang Yuqin felt an overwhelming wave of regret. Song Xiaofeng's countenance was exceedingly grim, akin to one mourning the loss of a beloved parent. The transformations unfolding before him occurred with such rapidity that he found himself somewhat at a loss. The once seemingly destitute Jiang Yuan now appeared far more complex than he had previously perceived. Most notably, the surrounding classmates began to murmur and point, their gazes increasingly tinged with disdain and scorn. It became evident that Song Xiaofeng had been boasting and seeking undue credit. A leopard cannot change its spots. Despite the passage of years, he remained unchanged. In comparison to Jiang Yuan, Song Xiaofeng's character paled significantly. This was indeed a monumental embarrassment for him, one that made him wish to disappear into the depths of the earth. Meanwhile, Sun Tingting gazed at Jiang Yuan with pride, her eyes sparkling with admiration. "Brother, Jiang Yuan, you have truly not let me down." Chapter 45. A resounding slap in the face. Song Xiaofeng's face turned ashen, his lips quivering but unable to utter a single word. The humiliation was overwhelming. Just moments ago, he had boasted to Sun Tingting's mother, Tang Yuqin, claiming that he was the one who had brought in Dr. Jiang. However, the slap of reality came swiftly, as his lies were promptly exposed. He wished fervently to vanish into the ground. Around him, his classmates cast scornful and disdainful glances, their whispers and pointed fingers intensifying his discomfort. He longed to flee the scene, wishing for nothing more than to disappear entirely. Yet, the one who regretted the situation most was not he, but rather Tang Yuqin. She had been preoccupied with the notion of uniting her daughter, Sun Tingting, with the affluent Song Xiaofeng, believing it would not only salvage her family's fortunes, but also elevate her daughter to great heights. In turn, this would allow her, as a mother, to enjoy a life of luxury and prestige. Now, it appeared that this entire scenario was a profound misunderstanding. The individual she had long looked down upon, and whom she had once attempted to thwart during their school days, Jiang Yuan, was, in fact, the true embodiment of wealth. In contrast, Song Xiaofeng seemed merely a jester and a charlatan. Other classmates gazed at Jiang Yuan with expressions of shock and astonishment, as if trying to peer into the depths of his being. A few close friends of Jiang Yuan teased him playfully, exclaiming, "You rascal! Who would have thought you'd be doing so well after all these years? Were you planning to keep us in the dark? I always had a feeling you wouldn't remain stagnant, Jiang Yuan. After all, you were the most renowned figure in our class. I suspected you were destined for greatness, but I never imagined you'd flourish to such an extent. Why the secrecy? Were you afraid we'd envy you and that it would ruin our camaraderie? Come clean, what have you been up to all these years? I recently heard you were just an ordinary courier. How did you achieve such success? Could it be that you found yourself a wealthy benefactor? Jiang Yuan, you rascal, just how wealthy are you? Were you jesting about that 3 million? Surely, you wouldn't genuinely consider donating such a sum. Particularly, Yao Exner stood agape, her mouth forming an S. She observed the complex expression on Jiang Yuan's face. Although earlier signs had hinted at his extraordinary identity, her womanly intuition had led her to anticipate that he was not simply an ordinary man. Yet, She could never have fathomed that he was the esteemed Manager Wong from the Fiskalton restaurant. As a fellow in the culinary industry, the illustrious Fisker restaurant undoubtedly eclipses the fame of its parent technology hotel. In truth, rather than merely being more renowned than her technology establishment, Fisker restaurant is the undisputed culinary titan of the southern city. Anyone involved in the gastronomic realm would be well aware of this establishment, which serves as the quintessential gathering place for the affluent elite of the region. Among them, Manager Wong is rumored to possess an unparalleled acumen for discerning people, exuding an almost divine presence. Yet, before Jiang Yuan, this formidable figure bows and scrambles to curry favor, leaving one to ponder the true magnitude of Jiang Yuan's identity. In that moment, a chill began to seep from Yao Xner's neck, enveloping her entire being. A sense of dread took hold, accompanied by regret for having underestimated Jiang Yuan. From their school days, Jiang Yuan had exhibited exceptional talent, distinctly different from his peers, which had initially drawn her to him. She had believed that with her assistance, Jiang Yuan would ultimately forge a successful path. However, she could never have anticipated that Jiang Yuan had transformed beyond recognition, becoming someone far beyond her ability to engage with. Amidst the crowd, only Jiang Shiying and Sun Tingting remained composed. Notably, Sun Tingting gazed at Jiang Yuan with admiration and affection, her perspective unchanged by her family's humble background or the wealth of others. Jiang Yuan was acutely aware of this, which was why he was inclined to extend financial support to Sun Tingting. Surveying the lively atmosphere surrounding him, Jiang Yuan seized the moment to propose a dinner invitation for everyone. Naturally, the venue was to be the illustrious Fisker restaurant. Upon hearing Jiang Yuan's invitation, the crowd erupted in joyous excitement. Anyone residing in the southern city understands that Fisker restaurant is the unequivocal monarch of the culinary world, albeit with exorbitant prices that only true tycoons or top-tier celebrities can afford. The notion of dining at such a prestigious location thrilled everyone, though Song Xiaofeng appeared visibly distressed, overwhelmed with embarrassment and eager to find an excuse to leave, having already lost face. In the ensuing conversation, Jiang Yuan discussed Sun Tingting's father's medical condition with Manager Wong, who confidently assured him that he would take care of everything. He deemed the situation a mere trifle for a physician, assuring Sun Tingting and her mother that they need not worry. Upon hearing these words, the mother-daughter duo was moved to tears, nearly kneeling in gratitude towards Jiang Yuan. At that moment, Jiang Yuan's phone rang, revealing a call from his mother. She resided in a quaint town at the foot of the southern city's mountains, leading a self-sufficient and tranquil life, far removed from the tumult of the world. The elderly gentleman's greatest wish is for Jiang Yuan to marry soon, to take a wife and return to the countryside with children to visit him. As fate would have it, upon answering the phone, Jiang Yuan was greeted by the familiar, nagging voice of his mother. "My son, do you have a girlfriend yet? Why not come back to the village? I can introduce you to some fine young ladies here." Hearing this, Jiang Yuan found himself at a loss, caught between laughter and tears. He currently does not have an official girlfriend, yet he is inundated with potential candidates, which has left him quite troubled. Chapter 46. The lottery again. Shares of the gaming company. After hastily appeasing his mother's incessant nagging, Jiang Yuan hung up the phone. Once the call ended, he glanced over at Song Xiaofeng, whose expression resembled that of a bereaved son. Having been publicly humiliated and exposed, he was now trembling, avoiding Jiang Yuan's gaze at all costs. Tang Yuqin, shifting her attention away from him, focused instead on Jiang Yuan, effectively disregarding Song Xiaofeng altogether. Surrounding classmates pointed and whispered, regarding him as though he were a criminal caught in the act. Today, Song Xiaofeng had lost all face. Not only had he been thoroughly slapped in the face, but he had also suffered defeat on multiple fronts. Particularly painful was the sight of Sun Tingting, his beloved, now expressing gratitude for Jiang Yuan's assistance while nestled in his arms. Jiang Yuan reminisced about their previous conflicts and grievances during their school days, and witnessing Song Xiaofeng's current predicament filled him with an overwhelming sense of satisfaction. Feeling buoyed by his good fortune, he thought it fitting to celebrate with a few rounds of lottery draws and perhaps even throw a party. Thus, he immersed himself in his system space, where he exchanged the substantial amount of accumulated points for mystery boxes. As he beheld the multitude of boxes suspended in the sky, a smirk crept onto his lips. His first 10 draws yielded, reward, 1 million yuan, 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 reward, 10 million yuan, reward, 10 million yuan, critical reward, 80 shares of Yuan Make Gaming Company. Critical reward, Supreme hacking talent. Oh my goodness. Jiang Yuan stared in astonishment as two brilliant golden lights flickered in the sky. He never anticipated such extraordinary luck today. It was merely the beginning, yet he had struck a double jackpot. Moreover, the rewards from these two golden eggs appeared to be exceptionally formidable. The first golden reward was indeed shares in a company, but this particular company was intriguing. Yuanmei Company. This gaming firm stood as a dominant force among the top 10 companies on the market, renowned for its exceptional sales. It was said that the programmers within the company were remarkably talented, all graduates from prestigious foreign universities, and their creative directors had honed their skills through decades of industry experience. With their robust technical barriers and an impeccable talent supply chain, every game they produced was a masterpiece. A saying has circulated in the market: what Yuanmei produces is guaranteed to be exquisite. Currently, among the global sales rankings, nearly all the top 10 titles are products of Yuanmei Limited. In contrast, Jiang Yuan previously received dividends from the pure profits of the Fiskalton restaurant. Yet these returns may pale in comparison to the immense profits generated by this gaming company. After all, the Fiskalton restaurant caters exclusively to affluent individuals in the South City. Thus, its audience is relatively limited. However, this gaming company is different. It targets gamers worldwide. Given the booming development of the gaming market, the profits from mobile games are extraordinarily staggering, with revenue figures that are truly remarkable. Each game that penetrates the global sales rankings and reaches the top 10 can yield astronomical profits for every shareholder. To date, Yuanmei Gaming Company has developed 4 phenomenon-level games. This implies that even if Jiang Yuan does nothing now and adopts a laid-back approach, he can still enjoy substantial quarterly dividends. Such a lethargic existence, akin to living off the fruits of others' labor, is precisely what Jiang Yuan relishes. He secretly wishes for more shares in companies like this. However, while company shares are indeed a commendable reward with the advantage of generous quarterly dividends, they come with a significant drawback. Should the company face bankruptcy, his status as a shareholder would also vanish. Furthermore, as a shareholder, he would incur a substantial financial loss, effectively resulting in a total loss. Generally speaking, such unfortunate events tend to occur in small to medium-sized enterprises. Large corporations, even if 1 or 2 games do not perform well, remain robust, as the saying goes. A dying camel is bigger than a horse. The shareholders of these large companies need not worry about such issues. The second reward, however, is even more intriguing: an extraordinary hacker talent. This marks Jiang Yuan's first acquisition of a practical talent. Previously, even when he received some remarkable golden rewards, they merely pertained to enhancing his physical attributes, which were rather mundane. This talent, however, has the potential to alter the capabilities within Jiang Yuan's very mind. This is exceptional, as the brain is the most crucial part of a person's body. The ability to modify the brain signifies that this reward is undoubtedly extraordinary. Jiang Yuan eagerly accepted these 2 golden rewards and promptly began to extract the remaining blind boxes from his system. Unfortunately, his luck seemed to have waned, as nearly all the remaining blind boxes yielded only ordinary monetary rewards, lacking significant utility. Perhaps he had exhausted his fortune. With a self-deprecating smile, Jiang Yuan reminded himself that one should learn to be content. Having already drawn such excellent rewards, he decided to regard anything else as merely a bonus. Just as he finished receiving the rewards, a phone call suddenly came through. On the other end of the line, a voice of exquisite elegance and nobility resonated, unmistakably belonging to someone of refined education and professional training. Mr. Jiang, this is the secretary of Yuanmei Corporation. There is an urgent matter that requires your attention. What urgent matter? Please speak plainly, Jiang Yuan replied. As the adage goes, new officials take office with a flurry of activity. Jiang Yuan had not anticipated that. Merely moments after assuming this new role, he would already be confronted with a significant issue. However, he felt an overwhelming sense of confidence, believing he could tackle any challenge that lay ahead. The elegant female secretary on the other end seemed to hesitate for a moment before continuing. Our company is experiencing a substantial leak of documents, and numerous highly confidential files have been exposed. If this situation is not managed appropriately, our corporation may face unimaginable losses. I kindly urge you to address this matter with utmost urgency. Chapter 47. A necessary counterattack. Jiang Yuan furrowed his brow, urging for clarity on the matter at hand. Very well, if it is convenient for you, I will report to you in person in an hour. Unexpectedly, just after receiving this identity reward, he found himself entangled in such troubles, a rather uncanny coincidence. Yet, With complications arising, he felt compelled to intervene. Otherwise, the repercussions could be dire. Such predicaments were predominantly a result of competition among peers. Jiang Yuan had long understood that rivals are indeed foes. However, the specifics of the situation would need to be addressed face-to-face. After briefly coordinating a meeting place with his secretary, Jiang Yuan ended the call and surveyed his surroundings. The alumni gathering that day had proven quite unique. Initially, they shared a simple meal, followed by a reunion with his first love, Sun Tingting. Jiang Yuan was, in fact, rather satisfied with this encounter. His feelings for Sun Tingting were more a nostalgic reminiscence of first love than any lingering affection. After all, time had passed, and many things had changed. I have an urgent matter to attend to. If you wish to dine at the Fiskarlton restaurant, simply mention my name. After a brief farewell to Sun Tingting and other old classmates, Jiang Yuan prepared to escort Zhang Shuying home. However, Sun Tingting tugged at his sleeve, her face a portrait of reluctance, unwilling to see him go. This left Jiang Yuan somewhat exasperated. Perhaps Jiang Yuan has pressing matters. Let him leave. Fortunately, Yao Shiner intervened at just the right moment, sensing that something significant was about to unfold for Jiang Yuan. He cast a surprised glance at Yao Shiner and nodded in acknowledgement. Reluctantly, Sun Tingting released her grip. Subsequently, Jiang Yuan escorted Zhang Shuying home before driving to meet his secretary. Approximately 30 minutes later, in an office on the 10th floor of Huafeng Building, Jiang Yuan regarded the woman before him. She was the epitome of a modern urban professional, clad in a form-fitting skirt that accentuated her alluring figure, complemented by a pair of sleek black glasses that lent her an air of intellect and competence. "Hello, Mr. Jiang. It is a pleasure to meet you. My name is Yi Yu Yao." Jiang Yuan nodded, committing the name of this capable and knowledgeable secretary to memory. Yi Yu Yao wasted no time on pleasantries. She retrieved a prepared folder and a laptop presentation, commencing her explanation of the incident's details. Aware of the potentially grave implications of the situation, she knew that swift action was imperative, lest the entire Yuan Mei company face an existential threat. In early this year, our gaming company reached its peak market share domestically, prompting us to publish 3 games overseas. As we anticipated, these titles garnered substantial revenue abroad, earning considerable profits from foreign consumers. But this success also engendered resentment from overseas gaming companies. Thus, this time they invested a substantial sum to enlist the services of a highly renowned overseas hacking organization, which proceeded to pilfer a vast array of data from our gaming company. Upon hearing this, Jiang Yuan nodded slightly. The situation, while unfortunate, was not entirely unexpected. After all, competitors are often adversaries. Yuan Mei Gaming Company is already a leading entity in the domestic market, and expanding into overseas territories was evidently a sound business decision. However, what was unforeseen was the remarkably swift ascent of our games abroad, which incited envy and resentment among foreign game developers. Consequently, they sought out a notorious hacking group to infiltrate Yuan Mei's servers, stealing a significant amount of information and subsequently making it public. Yi Yu Yao's expression darkened with indignation as she recounted these events. Not only had they stolen our company's data, but they also unleashed audacious proclamations, asserting that our server technology was utterly inadequate. They even went so far as to claim that no one in our country possessed the technical prowess to rival them. How brazen and arrogant! Jiang Yuan could not help but clench his fists in frustration. What does this equate to? It is akin to a thief breaking into your home, absconding with all your valuables, and then deriding you for the ineffectiveness of your security measures. These individuals even declared that there was no one domestically capable of matching their technical skills. Such blatant disregard and insolence are intolerable. Jiang Yuan furrowed his brow and inquired, "What is our estimated initial loss?" Yi Yao paused for a moment before responding slowly, "Given the exposure of our extensive confidential information, I estimate that our core losses in this round amount to approximately 5 billion. 5 billion? Jiang Yuan's fury towards those odious foreign companies and their arrogant hackers intensified further. This money represents the salaries of our employees. Each individual has a family, responsibilities to their loved ones, children, spouses, parents. If we cannot overcome this hurdle, countless families may be shattered and plunged into suffering. The root of all this turmoil lies in the greed and selfishness of these foreigners. Their crimes are egregious and indefensible." Yi Yu Yao continued, "Currently, there is another critical issue. They still possess our most sensitive data, which has not yet been exposed. They intend to use this as leverage, coercing us to withdraw our 3 games from the foreign market and cease competition with them. Should we refuse, they threatened to unveil our most crucial information, resulting in losses beyond anything we can currently fathom, potentially even leading to the company's bankruptcy. Jiang Yuan's eyes gradually revealed a fierce rage. These avaricious hackers have not only inflicted tremendous damage upon our assets, but they are also unsatisfied. They aim to hold our lifeblood hostage, compelling us to forego competition. This situation transcends mere shamelessness. Competing with integrity seems to have taken a back seat as they resort to underhanded tactics. We must retaliate. We must devise a way to rally all domestic technical experts, and we shall impose punishment upon them. Jiang Yuan declared sternly. I shall cover all expenses. Money is not an issue. We must show these scoundrels their true place. Upon hearing this, Yi Yao's eyes began to glimmer with disbelief. She hesitantly remarked, Chairman Jiang, this endeavor may require exorbitant costs. If you choose to liquidate your shares at this juncture, you might extricate yourself from the situation. Why must you go to such lengths? Jiang Yuan immediately bristled at her words. Chapter 48. If one offends me, I am a dignified citizen of the Dragon Nation. These disgraceful foreigners do not engage in fair competition. Rather, they resort to despicable hacking techniques to steal our corporate secrets, aiming to achieve market monopoly. In such circumstances, how can I, as a citizen of the Dragon Nation, remain an indifferent bystander? Jiang Yuan's words were resolute, devoid of even a trace of hesitation. These statements emanated from the depths of his heart. Yi Yao seemed to sense his determination and thus refrained from saying more, instead turning her attention to contacting some renowned domestic technical experts. In fact, even before Yuanmei Corporation encountered this incident, they had begun reaching out to several well-known technical personnel. Unfortunately, when the potential candidates learned that the adversary was the infamous foreign hacker organization, Muse, they all recoiled in fear and declined the assignment. Muse, established in the 1970s, is an organization comprised of a group of long-established, genius hackers from various countries. The organization is characterized by two fundamental tenets. First, they pursue profit without regard for morality. They have accepted commissions from several world-renowned powers to establish formidable defense networks, and to this day, no hacker has managed to breach the security they have put in place. However, they have also, driven by profit, assisted certain major nations in carrying out some astonishingly unscrupulous activities. This is a team of geniuses solely motivated by financial gain. The second tenet is that they categorically refuse any commissions from the Dragon Nation. This is particularly intriguing, as it is said that the upper echelons of Muse harbor no goodwill towards the Dragon Nation, which led to the establishment of this particular rule. Increase the offer. Raise the stakes. I will personally reward 500 million for this task. Throughout history, skilled individuals have emerged from the populace. As long as the price is high enough, there will always be someone willing to accept our bounty. Jiang Yuan commanded decisively. Yi Yao nodded in agreement, urgently initiating the outreach. Time was of the essence. The adversary had indicated that they would divulge all core secrets to the public by noon tomorrow if their demands were not met, rendering everything irretrievable. Jiang Yuan understood this urgency. They were racing against the specter of death. Whoever could gain the upper hand and successfully breach the opponent's server would emerge victorious in the end. Fortunately, we live in an age of information, where news travels swiftly. Jiang Yuan's personal offer of 500 million for overcoming the notorious organization, Muse, quickly spread through the ears of skilled netizens in China. Before long, numerous individuals responded to Jiang Yuan's call and gathered at the appointed location. Upon glancing over the assembly, Jiang Yuan noted approximately 17 individuals present. Most were middle-aged, ranging from 30 to 40 years, along with a few prodigious hackers in their early 20s. Secretary Yi Yao held a document, introducing Jiang Yuan to the identities and past accomplishments of these individuals. Yao Feng, one of the earliest red hackers in the country, has assisted the authorities in resolving numerous cases of computer information breaches, demonstrating formidable technical prowess. Zhu Cheng, a habitual offender who spent a decade in prison, is notorious for his theft of sensitive computer information and ranks among the more formidable figures domestically. Yi Ying, like Zhu Cheng, has also served time, albeit for a lengthy 20 years. However, due to his exceptional skills and significant contributions to the authorities, he received a reduced sentence, thus securing his release even before Zhu Cheng. Zhang Yongqing, similarly, shares a past with the aforementioned individuals. Upon hearing the introductions of these individuals, Jiang Yuan couldn't help but furrow his brow. He realized that, aside from Yao Feng, the earliest patriotic red hacker, the majority were individuals who had previously committed grievous offenses and had served time in prison. Nevertheless, after some contemplation, he found this to be somewhat reasonable. As most of the renowned technical experts were under government control, the exorbitant bounty he privately proposed was merely circulating among the public, thus attracting individuals who were challenging to manage yet possessed undeniable strength. However, Jiang Yuan remained unfazed, believing that a hero's origins matter little. As long as he could utilize them, he was willing to take risks with even the most dangerous weapons. Moreover, given the current critical circumstances, he felt compelled to take a bold step forward. Unexpectedly, before Jiang Yuan could utter a word, these individuals audaciously began to negotiate. "You're Jiang Yuan, the employer, right? I wish to discuss the bounty further. I believe that 500 million may not suffice to resolve this matter. I share your sentiment. I think we need at least 2 billion to have a chance at success. Otherwise, we might not be able to showcase our full capabilities. Indeed, our opponent is the internationally infamous organization, Muse. If the funds are inadequate, we shall not engage. 2 billion, not a penny less." Listening to their brazen demands, Yi Yao felt her brows knit in frustration, almost ready to voice her outrage. What had been agreed upon as 500 million was now being quadrupled, a blatant attempt to inflate the price. It was utterly shameless. Yet, Jiang Yuan remained composed, having anticipated such a scenario. The initial bounty was merely a bait to attract interest. "Very well, money is not an issue. As long as you can assist me in resolving this dilemma, we can discuss a higher amount." In truth, the funds he was willing to offer were trivial compared to what he aimed to gain. He hoped that among these individuals, there were indeed capable hands who could stand against such a formidable foreign organization. Otherwise, the consequences would be dire. Most crucially, the Dragon Kingdom could not afford to lose. With these thoughts in mind, Jiang Yuan proceeded to present his demands. This time, it is imperative to surmount the myriad obstacles set by the adversarial hacker organization, Muse, and reclaim the company's secrets that rightfully belong to them. If feasible, they shall also strive to seize the confidential information of the opposing hacker group, embarking on a comprehensive counterattack. "If one does not offend me, I shall not offend them. But if one does offend me, I shall bring ruin upon their entire lineage." Upon hearing Jiang Yuan's plan, the onlookers could not help but regard him with profound admiration. What a remarkable young man indeed. Chapter 49. The expert's defeat. A fierce cyber battle was imminent. Jiang Yuan observed the contest between his side and the opposing faction with a composed demeanor. It must be acknowledged that his team's strength was formidable. Each member was a notorious figure, notorious for their past transgressions. And even in the face of the elite hacker organization, Muse, they exhibited no signs of trepidation. Their expressions were marked by an unwavering confidence. Although a hint of tension hovered in the air, it was largely overshadowed by an exhilarating sense of challenge against a worthy adversary. The more formidable the opponent, the more their self-assurance remained intact, transforming fear into a compelling sense of competition. These individuals possessed extraordinary mental fortitude, their faces radiating an indescribable fervor. Each person was engrossed in their laptops, fingers dancing across the keyboards like ethereal spirits, unleashing command after command as if wielding swords in a duel, engaging in an invisible contest. However, as the battle waged on, the gravity of the situation began to weigh heavily upon them. Those who had previously appeared relaxed now bore beads of sweat on their foreheads, indicating the escalating seriousness of their predicament. As time progressed, the atmosphere in the room grew increasingly tense. Yi Yao felt a tightening in her heart as she observed the changing expressions of those around her. This was indeed a world-class hacker organization, a truly formidable force. It became evident that the domestic computing field had started too late. Even if there were one or two exceptional talents, they could not hope to contend with adversaries who had honed their skills over many years. The prospect of success seemed bleak, and it appeared that financial gains would be elusive. This was the power of Muse. It seemed they had no equal. Many computer experts who had previously boasted now wore expressions of despair, their faces ashen as they gradually recognized the vast disparity in strength between the two sides. Some, with less resilient mental fortitude, began to contemplate surrender, shaking their heads as they packed away their notebooks, preparing to leave in what appeared to be a retreating manner. Witnessing the unfavorable circumstances, Jiang Yuan clenched his fists. He was determined that the Dragon Country must not lose. Fortunately, just as most believed defeat was inevitable for Jiang Yuan's side, a commanding figure emerged in the arena. The moment he appeared, it felt as if everyone around him shrank in stature. Perhaps it was merely an illusion, but the room fell into a profound silence, where even the sound of a needle dropping could be heard. This was an extraordinary individual, exuding a remarkable aura, as if his long-standing position of power had cultivated an immense presence. A mere glance from Jiang Yuan's peripheral vision revealed that this man was anything but ordinary. As anticipated, upon the man's entrance, the computer experts' eyes widened in astonishment, and they began to whisper among themselves. It was Yi Nantian. In merely 30 seconds, he had successfully breached the networks of the 3 leading enterprises in the nation, a feat accomplished by the unparalleled genius Yi Nantian. Had he not long since retired from the fray? To his astonishment, he found himself re-emerging into the world today. Who could it be that summoned him back? For someone of his caliber, money was merely a numerical abstraction. What was his purpose here? Yi Nantian cast a frigid glance around the room, and upon catching sight of the expert screens, he instantly discerned the vast chasm between his own prowess and theirs, prompting a disdainful snort from him. You worthless fools are nothing but a disgrace to the Dragon Country. Should you fail today, I shall take great pleasure in seeing you washed away into the sewers like the refuse you are. History shall remember you as the sinners you are, eternally nailed to the pillar of shame, allowing future generations to mock us for having produced such purebred garbage. His voice was icy, and his tone dripped with scorn as he chastised the assembled computer experts. Jiang Yuan had anticipated that these proud specialists would react with indignation, perhaps even unleashing a torrent of invective. However, he was taken aback to witness that they not only refrained from retort, but lacked even the courage to meet Yi Nantian's gaze. After all, he was a true titan of the field, renowned for years, far beyond the reach of these younger, inexperienced individuals. In fact, it could be said that receiving a reprimand from Yi Nantian was a coveted dream for many. Yi Nantian shot a glance at Jiang Yuan, choosing not to elaborate or even mention the bounty at stake. At his level, the notion of money was trivial. The amount was inconsequential to him. His purpose here was clear. He could not abide the thought of his beloved Dragon Country being bested by these despicable foreign entities. As a patriot of the old guard, he was willing to shed every drop of his blood for the homeland that nurtured him. He would not allow any affront to the honor of the Dragon Country, and his own prowess and pride forbade him from conceding defeat to any foreign adversary. Jiang Yuan looked on with eager anticipation, hoping to witness Yi Nantian's extraordinary capabilities on display. True to expectations, once Yi Nantian entered the fray of this cyber battle, the surrounding experts were visibly struck with astonishment. Is this the strength of a senior in our nation? We had no idea such a formidable master was hidden within the Dragon Country. Truly remarkable. With Yi Nantian on our side, victory is assured, they exclaimed joyously. However, just as the crowd brimmed with hope, preparing to witness Ye's triumph, the situation proved more intricate than anticipated. 10 minutes later, the stalemate persisted, and it appeared that the opposing side had sensed the presence of a formidable opponent, consequently deploying one of their trump cards, a secret weapon. Yi Nantian furrowed his brows and remarked, the opposing side has deployed a supercomputer, possessing computational power that is thousands of times greater than ours. A supercomputer wields an astonishing capacity for processing information, far beyond the reach of ordinary computers. To put it simply, a standard computer can be likened to a wooden sword, while a slightly superior one resembles a sharp iron blade. However, the supercomputer is an entirely different entity. It is akin to the might of aircraft and artillery, fundamentally eclipsing ordinary computers and existing on an entirely different plane of capability. Chapter 50. Jiang Yuan takes action. Yi Nantian was inherently confident in his technical prowess, firmly believing that he could not possibly be outmatched. However, the crux of the issue lay in the fact that his adversaries were an exceedingly unscrupulous hacking organization, devoid of any principles of fair competition. Their singular pursuit was, and would always be, profit, an unending quest for victory. For the sake of triumph and gain, they would sacrifice anything. Every drop of their blood pulsed with unabashed greed and desire for wealth. In their eyes, the outcome eclipsed all else. Only eternal victory was the immutable truth. Thus, upon discovering that their side might possess a masterful talent, they promptly deployed their cherished supercomputers, seeking to exploit their technological advantage for an overwhelming victory. Swift, precise, and ruthless, this was the modus operandi of the Muse organization. Confronted with such a formidable predicament, Yi Nantian could not help but furrow his brow. Despite his significant strength as a renowned top-tier expert, he felt a sense of helplessness against the almost shameless offensive of his opponents. After all, individual prowess is only truly significant in a context of equitable conditions. Yet, with the deployment of supercomputers, potentially multiple units, the disparity in technical capability became glaringly apparent. Yi Nantian relayed the situation in its entirety to Jiang Yuan. These despicable scoundrels. Jiang Yuan clenched his fists. Supercomputers are not mere commodities that can be purchased with wealth. They are exceedingly rare resources, often existing in a market that is more theoretical than practical. Even if Jiang Yuan were to issue a bounty immediately, acquiring such equipment would prove daunting. Faced with a significant hardware shortfall, the situation grew increasingly dire. Fortunately, at this moment, Yi Nantian proposed a remarkably viable solution. I have a channel through which I can procure them, but the price will be exorbitant, around 1 billion for each unit, he stated. Upon hearing this, Jiang Yuan did not hesitate, declaring, "Let us purchase 10 units to assess their sufficiency. If the company lacks the funds, then I will supplement from my account. Should that account also fall short, I will liquidate shares. No matter what, we must bring these foreign adversaries to their knees today." Notification. Shotpoints 100 notification. Shotpoints 100 notification. Shotpoints 100 notification. Shotpoints 100 notification. Shotpoints 100. What audacity Jiang possesses. He is indeed a formidable individual. 10 supercomputers. This is nothing short of a 100 billion level gamble. Has he not contemplated the consequences of failure? This young man genuinely possesses a bold spirit. I sense he is destined for greatness. A madman, indeed, a true lunatic. Jiang Yuan's words immediately captivated the attention of all the computer experts present. As they gazed at him, a fervent excitement began to swell in their eyes. This was undoubtedly the act of a madman. They were engaged in a high-stakes gamble. In truth, Jiang Yuan was indeed preparing for a significant gamble. Should he emerge victorious in this battle, the immense benefits that UMA Gaming Company could bestow upon him in the future would far surpass the meager investments of the present. Moreover, as a proud citizen of the Dragon Nation, Jiang Yuan could not possibly swallow his pride in this matter. The arrogance of the opposing side was utterly intolerable. Exhibiting a blatant disregard for the Dragon Nation, Jiang Yuan was resolute in his determination to confront such despicable conduct and ensure that the adversaries received a stern lesson. For both personal and professional reasons, this was a battle he simply could not afford to lose. Chapter 51. The leader of the Muses, Yi Nanshan, sensed Jiang Yuan's fervent resolve to sacrifice his very heart for the sake of their homeland. A warmth surged within him. The prestige of Longhua could never be tarnished by his hand. Those audacious foreigners relentlessly proclaimed that Longhua's computer technology paled in comparison to theirs, brazenly intruding upon servers to pilfer information. Such actions blatantly disregarded the expertise of Longhua's technological specialists. Yi Nanshan fortified his own determination, recognizing that this was a battle that simply could not be lost. Victory in this confrontation was imperative. Jiang Yuan's patriotic fervor soon permeated the atmosphere, inspiring all present. After all, each individual was a native of Longhua, harboring profound affection for this land. The moment had arrived to defend the dignity of Longhua. They all steeled themselves, bracing for the challenge ahead, conserving their energy as they awaited the readiness of their equipment. Yi Nanshan acted swiftly, employing unique channels to procure the necessary devices. In a matter of hours, dozens of brand-new supercomputers stood before Yi Nanshan, Jiang Yuan, and their companions. The computational power of these supercomputers far surpassed that of ordinary machines. Each unit was a formidable powerhouse, capable of fetching astronomical prices. With identical configurations to their adversaries, Yi Nanshan was confident that his side would not falter. He soon immersed himself in a data offensive with utmost dedication. This time, the objective extended beyond merely retrieving the confidential information of Yuanmei Corporation. They aimed to breach the opposing server as well. The Muses organization, a collective of renowned hackers from various nations and regions, now convened. As they beheld the task at hand involving Yuanmei Corporation, smiles of derision spread across their faces, erupting into boisterous laughter. The audacity of these Longhua individuals was laughable. They believed that a handful of moderately skilled experts could contend with their formidable numbers. Such ignorance was both amusing and foolish. Longhua's computing industry had commenced far too late. Even with their numerical advantage, the prowess of these individuals was incomparable. The prospect of substantial profit from this endeavor was tantalizing. Yet, these so-called Longhua defenders dared to obstruct their financial gain, exhibiting a classic case of hubris. The level of their server technology was utterly inadequate. The world's most advanced server technologies were firmly in their grasp. How could they possibly withstand their onslaught? Nevertheless, one of their top experts proved formidable enough to compel the use of supercomputers. machines that had been graciously bestowed upon them during their previous endeavors to establish cybersecurity frameworks for various nations. Yet, just as they reveled in their apparent advantage, the situation took a swift turn for the worse. "Damn it, something's gone wrong," a voice shrieked in panic. His sudden exclamation fell upon everyone like a bucket of cold water, instantly altering the atmosphere to one of unease. They hurriedly began to investigate, but the more they looked, the more anxious they became, their smiles gradually freezing into grimaces. Many began to discern a rather severe reality. They seemed to be losing control over the Dragon Kingdom's computer network in this battle. Beads of sweat trickled down foreheads, and every expression turned grave and solemn. Supercomputers. Indeed, they possessed supercomputers as well. Their hardware capabilities were not inferior to ours. How could they possibly have the channels and ample funding to acquire so many supercomputers? The Dragon Kingdom had such formidable talents. We had underestimated them. This mission came with a bounty of over 100 billion. We absolutely could not afford to fail. We implore the leader to take action. The opponent's strength was undeniably formidable. Go summon the leader. A sense of unrest gradually permeated the Muse organization. However, this unease was swiftly suppressed. After all, the Muse organization's esteemed standing on the international stage was closely tied to their leader. The head of the Muse organization was a figure of immense prowess, renowned as the world's foremost hacker. Yet, he harbored a peculiar habit of secluding himself in dark rooms, avoiding contact with his own members. Even among the upper echelons of the Muse organization, only 2 individuals had ever glimpsed the leader's visage. Yet this enigmatic and legendary figure was like an invincible sword. His record of successful intrusions unparalleled. He was akin to a guaranteed winning card. Whenever he intervened, he never faltered. The Muse organization upheld a strict regulation. The leader should only be called upon in dire circumstances. Undoubtedly, this was such a critical moment. After a considerable interval, a message from the leader arrived. "Leave it to me." These 3 simple words, spoken by him, served as both a tonic and a tranquilizer, immediately calming all members of the Muse organization. After all, their leader had never failed. He was a sure bet for victory, and his subordinates held immense faith in him. The members of the Dragon Kingdom could indeed take pride in provoking their leader to action. Yet, that was where it would end. Once the leader chose to intervene, they would have no chance whatsoever. The Dragon Kingdoms, with their seemingly acquired hardware and moderately competent capabilities, fancied themselves superior to us. How naive they were. The last time the leader acted was a year ago. He must be even more formidable now. The Dragon Kingdom had no prospect of success. On the other hand, Jiang Yuan sensed the mounting pressure acutely. Yi Nanshan wiped the sweat from his forehead and remarked, "We have indeed underestimated our opponent. There exists a true master among them." Jiang Yuan's brow gradually furrowed. He had already committed to this high-stakes gamble, and should he falter, he feared he would descend into an irretrievable abyss. Fortunately, at that moment, a thought flickered in his mind, recalling the divine hacking talent rewarded by his system. Talent does not equate to ability. Thus, he had never considered that he could achieve any objectives without the support of hardware or skilled personnel. Yet, the current circumstances were different. Perhaps, at this critical juncture, this talent might prove to be of some utility. Chapter 52. A victorious start upon activating his extraordinary hacker talent within the system. Jiang Yuan felt as though a sharp needle had pierced his mind. A series of memories gradually surfaced in his consciousness, though assimilating these sudden recollections required some time. He casually chose a spot to sit and close his eyes, endeavoring to digest the influx of memories. Meanwhile, the others around him displayed little curiosity regarding his peculiar behavior, as they assumed he was merely overwhelmed by the dire circumstances at hand. Each individual's psychological resilience varied, and many believed Jiang Yuan's mental state had unraveled. As time progressed, the situation for Yi Nanshan and the Dragon Kingdom's representatives grew increasingly precarious. Should this trend continue, an unequivocal defeat awaited them. As the representative of the Dragon Kingdom, Yi Nanshan would find himself eternally branded with disgrace. Furthermore, Jiang Yuan's gaming company would face imminent bankruptcy, compounded by the exorbitant stakes gambled today, leading to insurmountable debt. The weight of this grim reality bore heavily on both Yi Yuyao and Yi Nanshan. It was simply overwhelming. Their opponent's strength vastly surpassed theirs, and his comprehension of technology was beyond their reach. Despair gradually etched itself onto Yi Nanshan's face, making him appear decades older, his visage gaunt and shrouded in a grayish haze. This was the first time he encountered such an extraordinarily formidable adversary, leaving him disheartened and despondent. This was not a realm attainable through mere effort or perseverance. It was a terrifying prowess born of innate talent and its subsequent perfect cultivation. The opponent's understanding of technology likely reached an unfathomable level. Even Yi Nanshan, who prided himself on having witnessed the grand tapestry of talent and extraordinary skills throughout his life, found himself genuinely humbled by the leader of the Muse organization. It evoked a sense of awe, akin to gazing upon an insurmountable mountain, a peak that could never be conquered. All he could do was lament his impotence, utterly devoid of fighting spirit. If even the venerable Yi Nanshan had resigned himself to defeat, what could the younger generation hope to accomplish? Regretfully, it seemed that the Dragon Kingdom was destined to lose once again, rendering them eternal pariahs in history. How would they face future generations? It was infuriating that even Elder Yi could not contend with such an opponent. The might of this organization was truly formidable. Just as despair enveloped everyone, and hope seemed to fade, Jiang Yuan's tightly shut eyes finally fluttered open, a glimmer of brilliance flickering within his gaze. Yet, no one paid him any heed. After all, he had just sat down as if his mental state had shattered, and everyone presumed he was the first to concede defeat. There is still hope. Do not give up so easily, Jiang Yuan spoke up. However, his words elicited a bemused reaction from those around him. Had he uttered this statement earlier, the crowd might have sensed a glimmer of hope, but now, the situation seemed irrevocably decided. Defeat appeared almost certain. Even Elder Yi had lost all sense of hope. So how could there be any chance left? Everyone unanimously believed that Jiang Yuan's words were merely a fade to mask his despair. Moreover, Jiang Yuan possessed no technical expertise and was utterly unaware of how dire the circumstances truly were. Even among them, Elder Yi, the most technically adept, had succumbed to defeat and was now pale and despondent, uttering words of despair. At this juncture, hope was a distant memory, and they perceived Jiang Yuan as a stubborn soul unwilling to accept his fate. Thus, they chose to ignore him, enveloped in silence, with no one willing to break the stillness. The atmosphere grew tense. As each person fell into a brooding silence, their gazes scattered, clearly reflecting their unwillingness to confront the harsh reality of failure. Nevertheless, Jiang Yuan remained composed, seeking out a supercomputer to input commands. Give it up. You lack technical knowledge. What you try to accomplish with these arbitrary inputs? Someone remarked. Mr. Jiang, I understand your current feelings, and I appreciate the substantial investment you have made in providing us with these supercomputers. While this has granted us a certain capability against our adversary, the situation is undeniably grim. We advise you to accept reality swiftly. The facts indicate that we possess no chance of victory. I apologize, Mr. Jiang, if my reminder displeases you, but we urge you to come to terms with the truth. We have indeed lost this battle, and we must resign ourselves to fate. Even Elder Yi concluded that their prospects were bleak. They were of no use, and what merit did a layman like Jiang Yuan possess in this endeavor? Stop wasting your effort. Suddenly, an astonishing scene unfolded before them. On the supercomputer before Jiang Yuan, a file began to download, only to be automatically executed for destruction and backup. This file was none other than the one stolen from Yuanmei Game Company. Though it was merely a single document, it signified that Jiang Yuan had successfully identified a vulnerability and opened a backdoor into the adversary server, thereby downloading the file intact and erasing the corresponding data from their server. It was nothing short of miraculous, akin to an extraordinary feat. In an instant, even Elder Ye's eyes widened in disbelief as he stared at the unfolding spectacle, rubbing his eyes repeatedly, scarcely able to believe that this was reality. Others stood in utter astonishment, gazing at Jiang Yuan as if he were a creature from another planet. The events unfolding before them had entirely surpassed their comprehension, causing their minds to falter, leaving them momentarily blank. They failed to discern how Jiang Yuan had achieved this feat, yet that seemed inconsequential. What truly mattered was the outcome. Jiang Yuan had indeed accomplished the unimaginable. Chapter 53. Global Discourse on the Defeat of the Muse Organization. The defeat was astonishingly simple, yet the processes and principles underlying it were exceedingly intricate. Inside Wall Street, the 8 leading internet companies convened an urgent meeting. News of the Muse organization's defeat at the hands of a company from the Dragon Country spread like wildfire. What? Are you saying the Muse organization lost? And to an entity from the Dragon Country? No, that must be a farce. My dear, I would rather believe this to be an April Fool's joke. Otherwise, how could such an absurd and ludicrous event transpire? In this age of the internet, possessing technological prowess equates to wielding ultimate power. If this is indeed true, we must reassess the capabilities of the Dragon Country. However, it is perplexing that a nation with barely 30 years of computer technology development could birth such a formidable organization. Yet, history possesses its own inevitabilities. Once events unfold, they must be deemed reasonable. We must now seriously contemplate a pressing issue. If even the Muse organization could not withstand the challenge posed by this company from the Dragon Country, then should we ever find ourselves in opposition? What chance do we have of overcoming it? What losses might we endure? The stakes are exceedingly high. Mishandling our relations with the Dragon Country could ultimately lead to our own detriment. This meeting lasted a full 7 hours, concluding with the decision that, starting from this day, the 8 leading internet companies would initiate an emergency project. They resolved to unite in training a specialized organization dedicated to cybersecurity offense and defense. Previously, they believed that with the protective network established by the Muse organization, they could rest easy. Yet now, even the Muse organization has faltered, falling to an obscure company from the Dragon Country, instilling in them a profound sense of insecurity. In the internet era, information dictates everything. Whoever masters superior computational technology wields an indomitable sword, creating an overwhelming sense of deterrence among others. They had previously considered the Muse organization to possess the strongest technology, and as allies in the same camp, they felt no alarm. However, the emergence of such a powerful organization from the Dragon Country left them in a state of trepidation. From this day forth, they began to reassess the strength of the Dragon Country, marveling at its vast resources and the emergence of such talent. These 8 internet companies are also among the foremost technology firms globally, and their greatest fear is the potential leakage of proprietary secrets. This knowledge constitutes their sole trump card in commercial endeavors. Should these secrets be divulged, regardless of whether they fall into the hands of competitors, they would suffer tremendous losses. Thus, their collaboration in training a specialized organization was a natural progression, yet a lingering sense of unease remained within their hearts. This organization from the Dragon Kingdom is shrouded in mystery. Upon its emergence, it swiftly vanquished the Muses organization, thereby achieving instant fame. The most terrifying aspect is that no one knows the true extent of this organization's hidden strengths. The Wall Street tycoons are primarily concerned with monetary gains. However, a significant portion of the populace is fervently debating the extent of the threat posed by the Dragon Kingdom. It is astonishing that even our long-established Muses organization has succumbed. Could it be that some divine fortune is indeed safeguarding the Dragon Kingdom? Is the Dragon Kingdom truly on the verge of rising? This era is exceedingly tumultuous, and I find myself struggling to keep pace with its rhythm. The Dragon Kingdom possesses such a formidable organization. Are these individuals merely adept practitioners from their society, or have they secretly invested substantial resources in their cultivation? Does this imply that, should they so desire, they could effortlessly infiltrate the computer networks of major powers in our world? If this is indeed the case, the implications are profoundly alarming, necessitating our vigilance. Concurrently, many individuals have begun to cast blame upon the gaming companies attempting to monopolize the market. After all, the genesis of this incident lies in these companies' desire for domination, which led them to employ the Muses organization in unethical actions against the Dragon Kingdom. Yet, unexpectedly, they proved utterly inept, failing not only to intimidate others, but ultimately becoming victims of intimidation themselves. There are even rumors suggesting that they lost their core secrets to the adversary, an utterly humiliating predicament. Dear God, I could scarcely fathom that our nation would become embroiled in such absurd and disgraceful occurrences. The failure to bully others, and instead being bullied in return, is a scenario I never imagined would transpire here. Such individuals deserve to be nailed to the pillar of historical shame, subjected to the searing flames of retribution for their transgressions. Their audacity is astonishing, recklessly acting without understanding the disparity in strength between the parties involved. It is difficult to comprehend how such minds could come to exist. Simultaneously, many are beginning to fear the impending rise of the Dragon Kingdom. After all, this incident may merely be a harbinger, concealing numerous secrets within the Dragon Kingdom that remain unknown to the outside world. Even the so-called world's premier hacking organization, the Muses, has fallen before them. This defeat occurred under the premise that the Dragon Kingdom was deemed utterly insignificant by the Muses. It is hard to imagine what other undisclosed cards the Dragon Kingdom may hold. While the world engages in fervent discussion surrounding this incident, the truly bewildered are, in fact, the esteemed figures, including Elder Yi Nanshan. None of us could have anticipated that it was Jiang Yuan, a seemingly unremarkable businessman who merely financed their endeavors. That lay at the heart of this affair. In reality, he concealed his true prowess, only to unleash his formidable strength at a critical moment, subduing his opponent with remarkable ease. This event is so steeped in legend that it has left them in a state of disbelief. Finally, someone cautiously inquired, "Mr. Jiang, given your formidable capabilities, why did you not act directly and instead summon us here? Surely, you could have resolved the matter single-handedly." However, before Jiang Yuan could respond, Yi Nanshan seemed to have an epiphany and interjected, "Jiang Yuan, are you perhaps seeking to showcase your skills before us, intending to win us over?" Chapter 54. The matchmaking of Tang Yueqin. In truth, Jiang Yuan's prowess was merely constrained by the limitations of his extraordinary hacking talent. Without the aid of supercomputers and others, even his formidable abilities would struggle to manifest fully. Naturally, he could not voice this sentiment aloud. Since Elder Ye articulated this rationale, Jiang Yuan merely nodded in acquiescence. Upon witnessing his nod, the others experienced a moment of revelation. Ah, so it is Chairman Jiang intends to lay the groundwork for his own team. Our perspective was rather narrow. It is only individuals of Elder Ye's caliber who can fathom Chairman Jiang's intentions. For the first time, I felt a profound sense of security working under someone as affluent and capable as Chairman Jiang. A chorus of flattery ensued, and Jiang Yuan, scratching his nose, accepted it as tacit approval. Thus, the matter was finally resolved. Not only had it salvaged Yuan Mei Game Company from its perilous predicament, but it also promised substantial quarterly dividends for himself. Jiang Yuan successfully assembled a team of computer experts, ready to serve under his command at any moment. The following day, Jiang Yuan received a call from Manager Wang, informing him that Dr. Zhang Huixing was prepared for the surgery. Jiang Yuan promptly conveyed this news to Sun Tingting and her mother. In the hospital room, upon hearing that her husband's lung cancer might be treatable, Tang Yueqin's eyes welled with tears of gratitude towards Jiang Yuan. Sun Tingting, overwhelmed with appreciation, nearly knelt before him, only to be steadied by Jiang Yuan in time. Their old classmates, witnessing this scene, silently admired Jiang Yuan for his willingness to aid a friend in need. Yet amidst this atmosphere of gratitude, a dark-hearted individual named Song Xiaofeng harbored malevolent wishes for the surgery to fail. What is so impressive about that? The operation has yet to succeed. This so-called Dr. Jiang is merely boasting. Should the surgery falter and Sun's father pass away, I wonder how Jiang Yuan will face the world. Perhaps this Dr. Jiang is merely a fade, a puppet orchestrated by Jiang Yuan to project an image. If his true nature is exposed, it would certainly make for an entertaining spectacle. At that moment, Wu Ti Sun Tingting loathed Jiang Yuan. In a corner, Song Xiaofeng reveled in his dark musings, plotting how to humiliate Jiang Yuan. However, Jiang Yuan, merely catching a glimpse of Song Xiaofeng from the corner of his eye, chose to disregard him entirely. Based on past experiences with Song Xiaofeng, he deemed such a character unworthy of concern. It was best to simply overlook him. Initially, Tang Yueqin had held Song Xiaofeng in high regard, but once Jiang Yuan's true identity was revealed, her interest in him dissipated entirely. Moreover, Sun Tingting had eyes only for Jiang Yuan, and the other classmates were not particularly fond of Song Xiaofeng either. Consequently, he found himself isolated, treated like an outsider by all. As Sun Tingting's father was wheeled into the operating room, nearly everyone present fervently prayed for a successful surgery. The surgery lasted approximately 4 hours. After its completion, when Dr. Jiang appeared before the crowd, a smile of relief illuminated his face. The operation had gone smoothly. There was no cause for concern. Tang Yueqin and her daughter, Sun Tingting, were immediately overwhelmed with tears, having endured an immense burden over the past few days. Jiang Yuan quickly supported both mother and daughter. Sun Tingting wept in her mother's embrace for a considerable time before finally calming down. Once their emotions settled somewhat, Tang Yueqin began to contemplate her thoughts. In her eyes, Jiang Yuan undoubtedly represented the ideal son-in-law, a paragon of virtue. If her daughter Sun Tingting could forge a relationship with Jiang Yuan, she would elevate her status, allowing their family to live a life of comfort. Furthermore, due to her husband's battle with lung cancer, the family had depleted their finances, leaving them with little hope except for Sun Tingting. Tang Yueqin, being astute and pragmatic, quickly devised a plan. However, rather than addressing Jiang Yuan directly, she turned to Sun Tingting and said, "Tingting, you must be exhausted from caring for your father these days. Let us find a place for you to rest." Upon hearing her mother's words, Sun Tingting felt at a loss for words. Finding a place to rest. Their home had been sold to cover medical expenses. Staying in a hotel required money, which they no longer had. The mother and daughter had been enduring a difficult time in the hospital. Jiang Yuan, noticing Sun Tingting's discomfort, promptly offered, "Allow me to arrange accommodations for Tingting." Tang Yueqin, with a shrewd demeanor, replied, "Oh, that would be too much. Staying in a hotel incurs considerable expense, and we cannot impose upon you without reason." The surrounding classmates perceived Tang Yueqin's politeness, yet were taken aback when she continued, "Why not let Tingting stay at your home for a few days? With such a kind person like you to care for her, I would feel reassured." A collective gasp echoed among the classmates. How forthright! To suggest living under the same roof was akin to offering her daughter. Sun Tingting's face flushed with embarrassment as she grasped her mother's hand, signaling her to refrain from such comments. Jiang Yuan, momentarily taken aback, nodded in agreement. "That's fine. She can stay at my home for a few days. After all, my house is spacious, and having one more person is merely an extra pair of chopsticks." Having endured the events of the previous night, Jiang Yuan felt somewhat fatigued and did not dwell on the implications. The classmates, however, wore expressions brimming with curiosity. Living together would undoubtedly spark some chemistry between them. They clearly favored the rekindling of Sun Tingting and Jiang Yuan's relationship. Meanwhile, Song Xiaofeng's face turned a shade of green with anger, his body fidgeting restlessly. This was unacceptable. The prospect of them living together was a situation that must not occur. What good could possibly arise from a solitary man and a woman cohabiting? Song Xiaofeng immediately exclaimed, "Jiang Yuan, why don't you take us to your home for a visit? We all know you have prospered, and it would be a delight for us to witness it." His intention was not merely for leisure. He was determined to prevent Sun Tingting from being alone with Jiang Yuan. Heaven knows what might transpire if they were to return home together unaccompanied. At the very least, having our large group present would ensure that nothing untoward occurred. However, upon hearing this, Tang Yueqin furrowed her brow and remarked, "Xiao Ting has been caring for the patient tirelessly these past few days. I believe it may not be suitable for her to be in a crowded setting. It would be best for Jiang Yuan to look after her on his own." Upon hearing this, Song Xiaofeng felt a chilling sensation sweep through him. This was indeed exceedingly pragmatic. Chapter 55. The Path of the Billionaire's Son. Tingting blushed deeply and said, "Mom, what are you talking about? It's just that we haven't seen our classmates in a long time, so it's only natural to gather and have some fun." Although Sun Tingting secretly yearned for a moment alone with Jiang Yuan, she, being a young girl, felt particularly shy. With her mother openly trying to matchmake her with Jiang Yuan in front of so many classmates, she felt a wave of embarrassment wash over her. Tang Yueqin sighed inwardly, aware of her daughter's timidity, which might lead to significant losses in the future. However, since her daughter had already expressed herself, she refrained from saying more. Meanwhile, Song Xiaofeng felt a rush of exhilaration, thinking to himself that it was fortunate the girl was shy. Otherwise, Jiang Yuan might have taken advantage of the situation. Amidst the scheming, Jiang Yuan was disinterested, feeling somewhat fatigued, and longing to return home for a comfortable rest. He casually remarked, "If you all want to come, then by all means. It has been a while since we've gathered. It's about time we enjoyed each other's company." The thoughts of the male classmates varied significantly. "Of course I'll go. Sun Tingting is my goddess. How can I let Jiang Yuan take care of her alone?" A lone man and a woman together will inevitably develop feelings. Rekindling old flames is only natural. Such a scenario must be avoided. Some men harbored a peculiar possessiveness towards beautiful women. Upon hearing that their school goddess Sun Tingting would be returning home with Jiang Yuan, jealousy stirred within them. Thus, they eagerly suggested wanting to gather with Jiang Yuan once more. Upon hearing this, Jiang Yuan instructed Xiao Wang to prepare some vehicles, and soon a lively group of old classmates piled into the cars, ready to head home. Among the vehicles were the recently purchased Ferrari 500, as well as a Rolls-Royce, Bentley, and Lamborghini. Wow, Jiang Yuan is impressive. So many luxury cars. Renting all these for a day must cost a fortune. Yet, given his lavish style, he surely owns them. Brother Yuan is amazing. Ding. Shop points 100 ding. Shop points 100 ding. Shop points 100 ding. Shop points 100 ding. Shop points 100. As the luxurious cars carried a large group of people, they swiftly drove onto a rather unique road. This road was sparsely populated and appeared somewhat desolate and empty. However, the vehicles traversing this path were predominantly renowned limited edition supercars, including the Rolls-Royce Phantom and Lamborghini Veneno. On this road, it was nearly impossible to spot any car valued below several million. With her exceptional insight, Yao Exiner instantly recognized that this was the fabled billionaire's road. The Billionaire's Road symbolized extraordinary and exceptional significance. The reason lies in the fact that this road leads to the renowned luxury villa district of the South City, Dongshan Villa area. Undoubtedly, the residents of this locale are billionaires. According to authoritative statistics from global organizations, there are approximately 17 million millionaires worldwide. However, the number of billionaires is a mere 1,000 or so. This road holds significant importance in South City. Those who traverse it are undoubtedly either billionaires themselves or friends of billionaires. The endpoint of this thoroughfare is a place claimed to be the gathering spot for billionaires. The most opulent villa area in South City, Dongshan Villa area. Seated in his car with a grim expression, Song Xiaofeng felt an unsettling disquiet. Was this truly the road of billionaires? How could that be? Even if Jiang Yuan had some wealth, it was implausible for him to be a billionaire. After all, Jiang Yuan was exceedingly young. Even with fortuitous circumstances that might lead to a fortune in the millions, that would be the pinnacle. The notion of a figure of such caliber as a billionaire was utterly inconceivable to Song Xiaofeng in relation to Jiang Yuan. Even if Jiang Yuan had some unique connections, such as being able to contact Dr. Jiang Huaixing and possessing enough wealth to afford a Lamborghini Huracan, that did not imply he was a billionaire. Could it be that this insufferable brat had rented a villa to impress those naive young women who had never seen the world? With a shift in thought, Song Xiaofeng quickly conjured various scenarios. In fact, this was a tactic that Song Xiaofeng often employed himself, renting villas at relatively low prices, hiring luxury cars for photographs to construct his social circle. He would even invite friends to his rented home, allowing impressionable young women to mistakenly believe they had struck gold by associating with a wealthy individual, thus falling into his trap. This was a well-worn strategy for Song Xiaofeng, one that had proven effective time and again. However, upon arriving at their destination, the standalone villa where Jiang Yuan resided, Song Xiaofeng was left utterly flabbergasted. All of his previous conjectures were instantly dismantled, for before them stood the most luxurious villa in the very heart of Dongshan Villa area. Even when considering the surrounding villas, their combined worth paled in comparison to this one. Each villa in Dongshan area exceeds a valuation of 1 billion. And this particular villa in the core region reached an astonishing 4 billion. Goodness, who exactly is Jiang Yuan? Song Xiaofeng was rendered speechless, his prior assumptions shattered, and his thoughts tossed into disarray. A villa of this magnitude would be nearly impossible to rent. Those who could afford such a residence would hardly concern themselves with rental fees. This villa was undoubtedly owned by Jiang Yuan himself. The female housekeeper, Yao Wenwen, appeared perfectly suited to welcome Jiang Yuan, accompanied by several maids. Goodness, Brother Yuan is impressive. This villa is truly yours. Is this a palace or a villa? It is simply too extravagant. And that beautiful woman, could she be the housekeeper? She resembles a fairy, simply breathtaking. There is even more to behold. Within, there exists a splendid assembly of exquisitely beautiful maids. This must truly be a realm where deities reside. Jiang Yuan is simply remarkable. Jiang Yuan, I implore you, accept me as your subordinate. I wish to accompany you on your extraordinary journey. During our school days, my bond with Jiang Yuan was unbreakable. Wasn't it, Jiang Yuan? Please take me along. Chapter 56. Astonished classmates. Sun Tingting was momentarily at a loss for words, overwhelmed by astonishment. Dongshan Villa area. This place is renowned as a gathering spot for billionaires. To her astonishment, Jiang Yuan brought her to the very heart of this enclave, where the villas are valued far beyond those in the surrounding neighborhoods. Jiang Yuan, is this truly your home? Sun Tingting swallowed hard, struggling to grasp the reality before her. She was aware that Jiang Yuan had become affluent and well-connected, yet she could hardly reconcile the image of this young man in his early 20s with the term billionaire. Yes, this is my home, Jiang Yuan replied succinctly, nodding slightly. He casually took Sun Tingting's hand and led her into the villa area, with a throng of astonished classmates trailing behind. Upon entering, they were greeted by an expansive garden, where elegantly clad maids were meticulously tending to the greenery. As they noticed Jiang Yuan's arrival, they all looked up and greeted him with cheerful smiles. Good day, Director Jiang. Hello, Director Jiang. Jiang Yuan returned their greetings with a smile, while his classmates stood in awe. I can't be dreaming, can I? This place is enormous, and the garden is breathtakingly beautiful. What is beauty without substance? These maids are not only exceptionally skilled, but each one possesses a striking beauty that rivals the most admired girls from school, perhaps only slightly overshadowed by Sun Tingting herself. Goodness, with so many stunning and capable maids, just the monthly payroll must be staggering. This expense is truly daunting. Indeed, poverty has confined my imagination. I can hardly fathom the indulgences of the wealthy. Living here feels akin to that of an ancient emperor, surrounded by opulence and excess. No wonder Jiang Yuan remains so composed. If I had such a multitude of beauties around me, I too would exude an air of tranquility in their presence. And this was merely the beginning. After traversing the small garden, Jiang Yuan led them to a splendid outdoor barbecue area. Raising their eyes, they beheld a meticulously arranged artificial pond, ideal for fishing and offering picturesque scenery. Dining in such a setting is undeniably refreshing. Jiang Yuan arranged approximately a dozen redwood tables and chairs, inviting his classmates to take their seats. He then instructed the preparation of barbecue grills and ovens, along with some exquisite red wine and beef, planning a delightful outdoor barbecue party. The beautiful chefs donned aprons, ready to prepare dishes for everyone. Xiaoya, Jiang Shishir, and others took charge of the grilling, while Xiao Xian and Yi Yin focused on crafting secret sauces and preparing barbecue accompaniments. The appearance of these enchanting chefs sparked another wave of excitement among the guests. I thought I had become numb to beauty after seeing so many today, yet these culinary maidens surpass everyone else in allure. I believe it can rival the beauty of a goddess like Sun Tingting. Astonishingly, there are 4 or 5 individuals here who possess such striking looks. The ambience in Jiangyuan is truly enchanting. An outdoor barbecue accompanied by a multitude of stunning beauties reminiscent of campus goddesses. Is this how Jiangyuan typically lives? It is indeed extravagant and luxurious. Under Jiang Yuan's command, an array of beef and red wine soon made their appearance before the gathered crowd. Beef is traditionally hailed as the finest of meats, though it is not uncommon, as nearly everyone has indulged in it. However, the pieces before us were distinctly remarkable, each adorned with exquisite snowflake patterns, reminiscent of winter frost. The vibrant sheen of the meat suggested exceptional freshness, and its texture appeared remarkably firm, yielding to a knife as if it were sinking deeply into it. The distribution of fat was evenly spread, a rarity indeed. Clearly, this was the epitome of premium beef. Could it be Kobe beef? I had seen it in videos. It indeed resembled this. It is said that a small piece of Kobe beef costs over 2,000. The amount here is staggering. My goodness. Isn't this equivalent to several years' worth of salary? To taste such luxurious beef, rumored to be so tender that one might feel compelled to savor it entirely, is truly a treat. Jiang Yuan is impressive. With a smile, Jiang Yuan instructed his subordinates to pour red wine for everyone. At that moment, attention shifted to the wine, which turned out to be the illustrious 1982 Lafite. This is indeed Lafite, and it is genuinely from 1982. Such a vintage is typically reserved for tales and legends. I am astounded. It is said that a mere bottle of this vintage costs tens of thousands. Goodness, to take a sip would be tantamount to consuming several thousand, akin to drinking the latest model of a smartphone. The beautiful chefs moved swiftly, their grace matched only by their culinary prowess, transforming simple barbecuing into an extraordinary spectacle. Skewers lavishly drizzled with sauce were presented at the table, accompanied by a rich broth crafted from lobster. The air was filled with an opulent aroma, a fragrant testament to the wealth embodied in these exquisite ingredients. Old classmates eagerly immersed themselves in the tender, delectable Kobe barbecue beef paired with the exquisite red wine. Jiang Yuan held a goblet in hand, filled halfway with the crimson elixir. He smiled at Sun Tingting and raised his glass, saying, "It has been a long time since we dined together. Let's toast." Sun Tingting's face instantly flushed as she raised a glass of red wine, her arm intertwining with Jiang Yuan's glass. Jiang Yuan was taken aback. He had not intended to share a toast with her. Clearly, Sun Tingting had misunderstood his intentions, although he had enjoyed such toasts with her in the past. However, seeing that she had already taken a sip, he felt it would be impolite to disrupt her sentiment. So he too tilted his head back and drank. The sight of Jiang Yuan and Sun Tingting sharing a toast did not go unnoticed by their other classmates, immediately igniting a wave of jealousy among them. Chapter 57. Pressured into marriage. Blind date Song Xiaofeng's face turned a shade of green with anger. In front of a large gathering of old classmates, they had already clinked their cups together. What would happen when the old classmates left, leaving just the two of them, a man and a woman? He shuddered to think what more they might drink. No, I must devise a plan. I have not yet lost. I refuse to concede. A sense of urgency welled up within Song Xiaofeng. He had previously lost to Jiang Yuan. Watching helplessly as Jiang Yuan and Sun Tingting became a couple, This time, he could not afford to lose again. Ting Ting, if your father is discharged from the hospital in a few days, perhaps he could stay at my place, Song Xiaofeng feigned concern. After such a serious illness, he needs a good environment for recovery. I happen to have a place perfectly suited for recuperation, complete with 3 natural gardens, ideal for post-illness rehabilitation. Before he could finish, Sun Tingting shook her head vigorously, rejecting him outright. In her heart, she could only trust brother Jiang Yuan. Other men were nothing but pigs in her eyes, and she couldn't be bothered to even glance at them, let alone trust someone with such a tarnished reputation as Song Xiaofeng. Jiang Yuan was about to interject on her behalf when the astute housekeeper, Yao Lunwen, timely chimed in. We have 13 exquisite ponds and 7 national level gardens here.